Just me and Serpento are hanging out here. You know? Just hanging out. We got an interview to do with this dude. He might be a little bit famous, you know, you'll see. But no Max heard this podcast, but he will be back for the podcast that's coming after this because we got questions and stuff to answer. So with that said, as the great Serpentor says, this I command, drop that intro.
Nitro is the glory, but e-buggy pays the bills. Welcome to the No Name RC podcast. Get ready for some serious bench racing. But be warned, we speak our minds, express our thoughts, and sometimes things can get a little rowdy.
Hate, and he just was influenced by the hate coming from the left, the hate coming from the right.
And let's get back to more club racing and less of this racing.
It's hard not to be arrogant when you're always right. You know?
See what I mean? That's exactly why people call you arrogant, Max.
You may not agree with everything we say, but it's definitely worth a listen.
And our pick, can you stop whatever you're doing?
Join your host, Lefty the Great, with co-hosts and guests as they get together to chat RC.
Hey, after that race that I watched this morning, I have to talk about it.
Here we go. $100 right here, $100 throw. Oh no! I like this.
Yes, indeed. Nitro's the glory, but e-buggy pays the bills. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to episode number 258 of the No Name RC podcast. I'm your host, Keno White, aka Lefty the Great, and joining me, Max isn't here this week. Well, no, he's here this week, just not for this podcast. We did something special. I'm going to tell you all about it in a second. But before I do that, I have to say thank you and do some thank you to everybody that supports this podcast. We can't do it without you guys. The NNRC squad around the world. I've got to hang around a lot of cool people this past weekend at the Florida round 6 of the Florida RC Championships. I will talk about that more with Max in the episode 259. But thank you to everybody that showed me some love, that helped me get there. I had a great weekend up there at the Epic RC Complex up there in Newport Richie. It was a great race. I had fun, and now I'm back. So with that said, I also want to say thank you to all of the patrons of the NNRC. Thank you guys for all your support, as well as the YouTube members. You guys will get early release of this podcast. If you wish to help out the podcast and help myself out a little extra, you can do that by going to the written description of this podcast. There's some links for our Patreon. There's some links for our YouTube membership. Hey man, every little bit helps. The Patreon, the YouTube membership. I really appreciate all that support. That all helps keep things going here at the NNRC here in the studio. With that said, we also have some awesome companies that support this podcast. We greatly appreciate them for their support. If you are a company and you think this is a great platform for you to advertise on going into 2024, please hit me up so you can check out our advertising tiers. They are Invisible Speed, High Tech RC, Sun Pedal USA, Sidewinder Fuel, Hot Race Tires, Mayako, Beach RC, Techno RC, Clinic RC, Ignite Design RC, bringing back gas truck, building mine, still building. I got the parts that I needed to finish it off. Stacked RC, Donovan RC, got me my Donovan RC leads. I'm super pumped. I'm going to have some pictures of them. They look dialed. Thank you, Zach. Remember, you can save 10% at Donovan RC with the promo code Nitro is the Glory. RaceCraft USA, see, they're dropping some new flock foils. The Florida RC Championships, which I was at this weekend, shout out to them. WRCE Danny Paz, my boy Gene Strout at SJ Racing. Shout out to my boy RC Body Armor as well. He's doing some good stuff. Check him out. And of course, House of RC, RCGP, and our drivers, David Runafalk, Jared Tiba, Robert Batty, and Alexander Hagberg, as well as Matty G. So if you guys go to the written description of this podcast, I have links for all these companies. There's also some of them have discount codes where you can save some money. Some of them are affiliate links where you get a little slice, and some don't have any of that. Just a link. If you do order from them, please let them know that you've heard about this on the No Name RC podcast. So this week, obviously, this podcast, I was planning to have Max on and we was going to do questions and geek out on RC and all that stuff. But I ended up doing a 3 hour and 50-minute podcast with one of the greatest RC legends of our time and two of my good friends from Australia, Ben Panic and Zach Ryan. They actually organized all of this and were a big part of this because they helped Hara get his car back. But that's right, you heard me. We had Atsushi Hara, 2-time world champion, 2008 world champion in 8 scale, 2000 world champion in touring car. He joined us to talk about RC for 3 hours. It was a little bit of a logistics nightmare because, you know, they're like 12 hours ahead of me. I've been traveling, so we figured it out. We squeezed it in. I got up early, like 5 o'clock in the morning, came in here, recorded with them, and actually ended up putting them to sleep because we recorded for 3.5 hours. It was a great chat with Hara. Remember, guys, English isn't his first language, but his English is really good. And I really got to know more about him. My first time ever talking to this guy, never met him. I like him. I told him already. I said, you're like the Asian JQ. You like to drink beer. You like controversy. But the only thing that's different between you and JQ is you actually win. He doesn't. So it was a great chat with him. Thanks to Zach and Ben for making it happen as well. Thank you to everybody that supported Hara in the GoFundMe to get his car back. We explained how that all went and why he had to do that. So with that said, enough of all that. Let's get right into the action of this podcast. There's no drops. There's no nothing. It's just straight talking. No timestamps. I want you guys. I think this is a great chat. So listen to the whole podcast. With that said, let's get talking to Atsushi Hara. Wow. This is my first time in ever having 4 people on a podcast. But just so you know, we have an absolute legend with us, 2-time world champion. And I'm super pumped to have him on her. And then obviously I'm with my friends Zach and Ben, both from Australia, who have been on the podcast previously before. And even though I've never met none of you in person, we've become very good friends, Zach and Ben and I, over the years. They've been an awesome supporter of the podcast. And they did a really cool thing for this gentleman down here in the bottom right-hand corner, I guess would be, or left-hand corner, Mr. Atsushi Hara. Welcome, everybody. This is the Atsushi Hara interview that we have planned. We've been trying to get this planned for like a month now. With logistics, it's been a little bit hard because Zach and Ben are in Australia. Obviously, Atsushi is in Japan, and I am over here on the East Coast. With my travel schedule, with their travel schedule, we finally figured out a day. So right now, it's like 7 o'clock in the morning here in the DR. I think for you, Zach, what time is it?
9:15 at night.
9:15. Ben's actually in Japan. Ben, so it's what, 8:15 there?
Yeah, that's right. It's 8:15 here in Tokyo. I'm sitting in the corner of a hotel room trying to make this work.
Improvise. I must get you improvise very, very well. I like it. And of course, it's 8. It's the same time for you, Hara, over there in Japan. Thank you guys for coming on. I guess we should kind of start how this all kind of happened. If you guys haven't been keeping up with some things, Hara is the 2008 1/8 scale world champion. If my world champion, he won that in Charlotte, North Carolina. I remember watching that race. It was like the first time live RC had. You know what? Hold on. Let me go on a tangent real quick. I went and looked at that race the other day, and man, the coverage was so great for 2008. Man, it was awesome. It was really good. They really killed it. Crazy race, crazy track, all that stuff. We'll talk about that more, but just had to throw that out there. So he won this. He won this championship, and then I believe he was racing for was it HBI or HB back then?
HB. Actually, hot bodies. We call seats. Now they call HB, but at that time we call hot bodies. Okay, so HB. It was hot. Yeah, so it was hot bodies. It was their first 8 scale world championship. They've won 3 so far. And then apparently, I don't know, we'll talk about that. You never had the car in your possession. Hot Bodies must have had it on show. It got lost. You found it. The guy on eBay wanted a bunch of money for it. And Zach and Ben came to the rescue and figured out a way to get it back to you. Now have it in your possession because that's what Ben did. He got it sent to him, and then he was traveling to Japan for work. So now you have it. I guess let's start there. Who should we start with? Yeah, I guess we'll start with Zach. How did this all come about?
I guess I want to know what happened with the car? That's a better thing. How did it not end up in his possession?
I suppose, Hara can touch on how it got lost in the first place. But it was one day we seen on Facebook, Hara posted that he had identified that his buggy was for sale on eBay for, $4,000 US. And it was, it just seemed a bit crazy at that point in time. And Ben and I are on a chat with Phil from Neo Buggy, and, Phil and us had spent a lot of time racing through Thailand, all through the 2000s, really. And so we'd raced with Hara a lot through that period, and, had a lot of great times and a lot of respect for Hara. He always used to, help everyone out at the track, and was a great ambassador for the hobby. And to see him not have his world champion winning buggy is just absolutely crazy to us. So, Phil had sort of been chatting to us, and he just sort of suggested it would be a good idea maybe to start a GoFundMe page. And so Ben and I contacted Hara and said, this is what we're thinking, would be a good option for you to get the buggy back. And we sort of went backwards and forwards and tried to investigate, okay, what's the ability for Hara to do that through Japan. And unfortunately, the GoFundMe page is not facilitated through Japan, and that country is not on the list to be able to do it. So, Ben and I sort of talked it through and just said, well, we just need to make it happen, because Australia was obviously on the list. And so we set up the page, and it was pretty crazy. I mean, Hara went to the guy on eBay, and he took the car down, and we had some negotiation with him on a suitable price, and then we went from there. And I think Ben and I and Hara all sort of put bets on before we did the page, just how long it was likely to take for us to raise the funds. And we were sort of thinking that would be, a matter of days to weeks to raise the money, because it was still around $2,800 US that we needed to raise. And we posted the link, and it was just crazy. I was sitting at home. It was still an early morning. I was having my coffee, and I posted the link and told the boys that it had gone live, and we were just dumbfounded with the pace that the funds were raised. It was like within 4 hours, effectively, we'd raised all of the money, and the donations were just coming in from people really all over the world. And it just shows you, I guess, the influence that Hara's had across the world in so many different racing scenes. And it was just so cool to see a community come together and support getting Hara's buggy back. And here we are today. So I guess what you see on your screen there is like the list of all the people that contributed. And, even after the event, I had so many people message me saying, I can't seem to be able to donate. What's going on? And it was just because we'd already reached the cap, and I had to close the donations down. So even though this list of people, there was still so many other people that wanted to contribute as well. And unfortunately, we already reached the cap, and we didn't need any more donations. So, to all the people that also still wanted to donate but couldn't, appreciate that support as well.
Awesome. Sorry, go ahead. And Ben, then you kind of got involved with Mark Pavitas. You guys got Mark Pavitas to pick it up, and then it got sent to you, and you've taken it to Hara, correct?
Yeah, look, I think, as Zac said, one of the things, that we have going is we have a chat with Hara, and we've raced, all over the world together for many years. Zac and I have known Hara for more than 15 years. And, when this all sort of came about, we put our heads together and said, how can we potentially make this happen and make things right? And what I'm most proud of out of all of this is the community. If you think about the community, and Zac touched on it a little bit, I had the same thing. We posted this, we were all blown away. It took, I think, 5 hours for us to hit the limit. the community got behind Hara, and I think it's really testament to the work that Hara has done and just how approachable and how friendly Hara has been over the years. I don't think anyone has a bad thing to say about Hara, and everyone just got behind it. So I'm super proud of the community and everyone who was, really looking to help him out. It was out of his control. I know we had many people say, "Oh, how's this happened?" Or, "What's happened with the car?" Well, Hara had it on display at HPI for many years. HPI changed owners, and the car ended up out in the public domain. And Hara and I had breakfast yesterday morning, and one of the things that we talked about was we were just amazed that I think we worked out the car went missing, or at least out of HPI, in 2015, maybe the end of 2015, and we're sitting here today in 2023, and the car is as is, like nothing has been taken off it. It's in its original form. That to me is just mind-blowing. And I know, the look on Hara's face, and he almost had tears in his eyes when he saw it when I passed it to him. It was pretty phenomenal. So, I've got a big thanks to everyone who, contributed to the GoFundMe, and to all those people that did reach out to Zac and I, once the GoFundMe had closed 5 hours later. People were just looking to contribute and help the cause. So I just think that's amazing. I don't think there's too many sports in the world where you'll see, the community rally around like they did here. And, when we got the car, because Hara and Zac and I had, discussed, well, all right, is it going to be possible that we can raise the funds and get the car? And, we overcame that hurdle. And then it was like, all right, well, how do we get the car back to Hara? And I know, Hara originally was thinking, well, I'll get the guy to ship it to me. And I was super concerned with that, because I thought, gee, what if it goes missing, in shipping, and we get lost? Like, that's just a nightmare. And it was one of those unique situations where the Worlds, the 10 scale Worlds, was on at the same time. And, we put our heads together, and I thought, well, I know guys, Josh Payne, Andrew Gillett, RC friends for decades, back in the 90s, where, they could bring the car back to Australia. And then it was joining the dots of how could we get the car to those guys in Arizona. And I knew that Mark Pavidis lived relatively close to the seller. And I contacted Mark, and, he went above and beyond. He was good enough to go out and, pay the guy, pick the car up, and then meet up with Andrew and Josh, and they brought it back to Australia. And, then I went down to see Andrew and picked the car up from him and brought it over to Hara. So this is just such a community effort, and, I'm just proud to be a really small part of it.
That's awesome. It's like the stars aligned, because you had the Australian guys over there from doing the 10 scale Worlds. You was able to bring it over in his luggage. Then obviously you made the trip to Japan, I think this week or last week, to drop it off to him. I'm looking at the car. It does look like it still has the dirt from the Charlotte on it. So awesome stuff. It's, our community is really, one of the things I love about RC is the community, right? We were able to, we're accessible. Through RC, we get to meet people all around the world that share this love for RC. And what the only people that understand it, a lot of people, when you talk to them that aren't into RC, they don't get it. But it truly is great. And of course, this man should have his car back. This was something serious. This was HB, or Hot Body's first World Championship in 8 scale. I know a lot of people were I know a lot of people were kind of confused how he didn't have it, but it's not unusual. I know, like, Greg Dogani doesn't have his 2002 Worlds winning 8 scale buggy, but then again, he did sell it to Jay Smoker, who then made it into a truggy. I just wanted people to understand that, like, you didn't sell this car. HB took it, and they had it. Hopper took it and had it on display. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that and how that all worked out, and how did that car? How did this car end up in the hands of who had it? Please, Hara.
Yes. So right after the Winter Worlds, we bring back to the HB office in California, and then they have nice showrooms inside the company. So it's no reason to, I bring back to my home. Because also my home is not so big enough to the display all of the RC cars. So mostly I just keep in the office, the HPI office, for which I win every races. So they already have nice showrooms inside the company. So I just keep there. I think it's also safer to bring back my home to maybe I don't rust. I think I don't rust, but maybe sometime, it's just no point to bring back home. So the car, just to leave it in the office. And then I plan to, it's more continue to drive for the hot bodies that time, but we have some different situations later year. So I stopped to sign after we expired my contract. I don't re-sign with them. So after I left hot bodies, the car still keep in the office, in the showrooms. Also, people can see after that. After I left HPI, still people can visit HPI office, and then sometimes people can see all of the winning cars. So I thought maybe it's a safer to keep in the company. But also, the other hand, normally the sponsor drivers like me or the other drivers, it's the car. It's from company, not I don't buy from companies, not from my money. So normally after the finished contract or after finished relationship, normally send back all of the cars and parts. So there's normally, I think it's all of the RC drivers should send back to the who sponsor them. So for me, it's also same. I never bring back to I never take all of the years, RC years after finished the relationship for the sponsors. So just I leave my car stay in HPI because of I have to give back to them because it's they finish the relationship. But it's sadly the HPI hot bodies that time is kind of going to close down. They have to leave the office, and then I think if something happens when they leave from the building, I think if someone take everything have from the showcase, the showrooms. So I asked many guys after the close down HPI office, then who has my winning the HagBerg buggy cars, but no one knows, even includes the owner of the HPI. He doesn't know where is it. So I think it's someone, I don't know how, but it's someone took from the showroom. So, and then sometime I saw my car the sell in eBay, even like the other cars, like 112, 10-scale touring cars, and then nitro cars, everything sell in eBay. So I just think maybe someone take and then try to sell in eBay to exchange the money. But I never find my most favorite D8, the world winning car, or even like a touring car, the TQ for 2008 110 touring car world. The TQ car also I never see in the eBay. And finally, a couple months ago, my friend, I think you guys know the Tyler Bick. He used to race the buggy many times. I think many people know him. And he just sent me a message, then say, "Hey Hara, I found your the world's winning D8 on eBay." And he gave me the link, and I see the pictures. Yeah, the car is like exactly what I use at the Worlds. Oh yeah, I forgot to show this one. Finally in the back of my hands, but
looking good.
Yeah, this one. It's awesome, also clean. Yeah, it's the numbers and all the stickers, positions, and it's all the Leo one. But as on the pictures, me and the Zac and Ben talk about, are you sure this is the Leo car or not? Maybe they posted the picture in eBay, maybe just the pictures, maybe not 100% sure he have that car on his hands. So we tried to contact the seller, then to send some like take pictures and then different pictures, and then he sent me, and then yeah, the car is even like taking a body show, I can see more. I can see more real one because look at this air filter. It's just melt. And the dirt color is from
that's Charlotte dirt.
Yeah, Charlotte dirt, that little red clay dirt, not clay, just a red dirt.
Yeah, that's the only place you're gonna find stuff like that's in the Southeast, North Carolina, Georgia, a little bit of Florida.
Yeah. And you can imagine like one of the challenges that we had in this, because we felt a real obligation to the community, you know, and everyone that had donated, that we needed to really verify that, you know, what we were going to hand over such a significant amount of money for was legitimate. You know, talking back with Phil, there was a huge amount of photos of Hara's winning car, obviously, out in the public domain. So one of the things that we were concerned with was to make sure that, you know, what we were going to hand over the money for was legitimate. And that, you know, that's really where we kind of triangulated and said we didn't feel comfortable with handing over the community's money in a situation where we really couldn't validate that the car was legitimate. And through the photos that Phil had, you know, there were some really specific photos that we knew that there was so much dirt in one of the gearbox screws that attaches to the chassis of, you know, the front right-hand corner. And there was validation that we could do. So we thought the best way to do that is to have someone actually go and visually inspect it before the money was handed over. And, you know, that's where such a massive thanks goes to Mark Pavidis for taking time out of his schedule to go and do that and really verify. Because, of course, the last thing we wanted to do was buy something that wasn't legit, you know, with other people's money. It just didn't sit well with us. So we spent a lot of time on that side of it.
Yeah, and he wanted quite a bit of money for this at first, correct? Like $4,500 or something like that, I think it was.
Yeah, I think it was advertised for $4,000 US initially. And, you know, he was really good. The seller, Hara, reached out to him. They communicated one-to-one. They came up with a price that was a little, you know, more palatable, you know, to what we thought was reasonable. And then we moved ahead with that. So, you know, it all worked out in the end. But quite frankly, you know, I was super uncomfortable with doing this at arm's length. I particularly, I needed to see that this was going to be the car. And, you know, you can imagine that if, you know, and this wasn't anything to do with this particular seller, but we've all seen this out there on Facebook in the RC community where someone sells something, you know, it never arrives, or what was sold or perceived to be sold gets packaged up and it's something different. You know, we just couldn't let that happen because, you know, it was not our money, right? It was the community's money. So Zach and I felt a really strong obligation to make sure that we could do everything to ensure that the buggy was legitimate. And then ultimately, you know, Hara gets back what was his. And that's where we circle back to. And you know, Hara and I just couldn't believe it, where it is the actual car. There is, you know, the dirt that's in the screws from Charlotte is still there. And I'm sure Hara's going to share some amazing stories. But, you know, we talked a little bit about, you know, the tires. You know, Hara, I'd love for you to share the story about the prototype Pro Line tires that are on the car, and also, you know, the work that you and Muran did with the engine. That maybe that's a great place to start. But tell us a little bit about the tires and then the engine and how we came to that engine, because one of the things that Zach and I and Hara had a bit of a laugh about, you know, everyone who races Nitro has experienced what, you know, a rusty bearing feels like after a period of time. Well, you can imagine this car was last run in 2008. We're in 2023 now, 15 years later. When I got the car and I rolled over the flywheel, first of all, I thought, is it going to roll over? Second of all, surely it's got to be crunchy. Man, this car's got no rust on it at all. And the rear bearing is as smooth as a brand new one. It's pretty phenomenal. So, yeah, Hara, tell us a little bit about how you came about getting that engine and maybe the story on the tires as well. I'm sure the listeners would love to hear that.
Yeah, it's like okay, the tires. I think this is the same tire which I ran the final. It's no name on the side because of the prototype from a Pro line. That time I have the sponsor from them, and then this is they call Revolver tires. It just came the prototype just before the Worlds. Even like not many people. No, I think no one practiced. No one tested that track. I think they testing the other track and then they works okay, but not sure it's better than Crime Fighter. We use a Bullfighter at times. The most popular tire is Bullfighter or Whole Shot. And the Revolver tires, even after start of the Worlds, it's hard to test in the practice day or doing the qualify because of the rain. So many rain. I don't know how many days. Just maybe 2 days. So it's just hard to test the new tire. So no one wants to test. And actually, I asked many times the Proline guys how is the new tire work, but they say they don't know. Maybe good, maybe not. So I don't want to test during the race. So till the semifinal, I don't think about to even try for this new Revolver tires. But my qualify times, I remember it's not too bad. It's just enough to make a semifinal directly. But even a semifinal, I passed. I think I finished 4th in semifinal, but I checked lap times. It's compared to the other top guys like Mike Truey and then Mayfield. I think they're more than 1 second, maybe 1.5, sometimes 2 seconds faster than my best lap. So I just thought I have to use some different things on the final. Otherwise, maybe I just drive around in 1 hour for nothing. So I just tell the Muran, I think it's maybe we can test before start of the final. Maybe we have 5 minutes the warm up time. So if tire doesn't work, maybe we can still change to the Bullfighter. But I already feel it's for warming up lap time, the lap in the first corner. I feel already tires are much better traction and steerings and even like easy to create over the jumps and everything. So I decided to stick with this new Revolver tires. I think it's some people, some Proline guy also choose the same tire in the final. But I remember Truhi, I think he still run. He's the fastest guy in the TQ at that time, and he keep using Bullfighter, I think, in the final. So the tire for sure to make me much more faster in the lap time to doing the final. Also, I do change driving line. It's doing the final because Truhi only have the different the line for the jumps. They call the Truhi jump, like 3 or 4 jumps, and for us have to over the step on the top, which it's just so difficult to do. People think it's way difficult, but when I try before the start warm up for the final, I try a couple times, and then one time I do. It's really nice, same as like a 3. Then I decided I just go every lap after the start of final. But I still have some mistake the first 10 minutes, 15 minutes with that Truhi jump. So it's kind of far off from the race lead at the time till the 15 minutes. But after that, I getting used to this jumps. Just Truhi make only time. Then in the final, I just more getting used to make it same as Truhi jumps, and then my lap times goes maybe almost 2 seconds faster than my semifinal or qualified lap time. So that's why I can catch up to the end of the race for everyone's from. I think I stay with 9s or 10s in the beginning, and I just catch every 5 minutes like 2 or 3 cars, and then after 25 minutes, I think I starting the battle for the winning. So the this tires makes like this big change for my final, the pace for sure. And then the engine also, I think this is the kind of the first OS, the people call the OS's best engines. I think it's 2006 Worlds might be this win with OS engines. That engine also starting OS engines, people think this is good, but I think this VZV this engines, I think this is the people just everyone said OS is the best at the time. So I think I can use just a stock engine, like no modifier, no nothing special engine from OS, which is always give me just a regular engine because they don't have any special. The good engine in the world just they check all the tolerance, the quality control is really good, so they don't need special engines. So the most of every driver from OS that we use is just same as production engines. And we have already good engines before start the Worlds, but one engines we have from it's same as OS, the same spec, but there's some modification from JP Racing. He do on-road engine long time ago. The JP guy he also sell the JP modify OS engines, but it's in off-road. I think it's not so much not that big names on the off-road market. So I think nobody buy in the hobby shop. So we just took one engine from the hobby shop and then we tested. And actually, the JP Modify is really, really good. I don't know what he do, but it's just more.
His engines were fast.
Yeah, it's just. I hear that his on-road engine was crazy fast. I think
I had a JP P5 back when, and that thing they were like $750
right
back then. And that thing was fast. He was a very good engine modifier. Yeah. So I think you won this. I believe if I remember correctly, but you won this race because you had one less. You also had one less fuel stop than Trui.
Than Trui, yes.
Yes. So did you? How was that anything to do with the engine, or was it just you and your throttle finger?
I think it's actually for the throttle finger for the escape buggy doesn't make much the big difference for the mileage. It's compared to electric cars. Sometimes people more pull trigger, maybe sometime more better land time because of just timing to how to use the fuel. It's just different than an electric car. So I think it's my driving style. It's just normal, not really, really smooth, not too aggressive. Just I think it's a neutral. But the land time, that time, we have some advantage from the fuel. The fuel from Japanese, the name is Cosmo, which is no one sell in the US. But I use in Japan for that Cosmo fuel. We feel like it's always better mileage, and then the power feeding is always good. Engine's always super clean and nice. But it's not easy to ship to the overseas for the fuel because of the chemicals. So like many months before, I asked the Cosmo guys, and then just ship by boat. Take maybe 3 months to reach in the US, but we have time. So one thing for sure, I make 8:30. I think it's my long time. The mileage was 9 minutes. So it's still safer to pit in like 8:30, around 8:30. So it that makes one pit less stop than the other guy. So it's if compared to Mayfield at that time, I think he have 2 or 3 times more than my pit stop. So it's kind of the big advantage at times. But I remember that after the race, many years, it's people say, "Oh, Hara win because he have 5 times less pit stop than anybody else." So the thing is, I think people knows I have less pit stop, but it's only 1 time pit less from a tree.
I think the interesting thing there, listening to you talk that through, and again, we talked the other day over breakfast is, and everyone knows this, you need so many things to go right to win a Worlds. You think about the fact that you bolted on a tire that you'd never run before, and you bolted that on before the start of the main, and you were like, well, let's give it a go. There's a 3-minute warm-up. We'll see what it's like. And I think you shared with me, like many of us drivers that have put a new tire on, you can tell in 1 or 2 corners, and you knew straight away, right, this is the tire that we're going to use. It works. I can feel the car is a lot more gripped up. And I think that's something that you probably needed because True was a bit of a standout at this Worlds, with the Truey jump. He did something similar in 2007 at the 10 scale Worlds in the west coast of Japan. There was a jump that really only Mike was able to do in two-wheel drive buggy, and it gave him a really big advantage to TQ. And, we saw the same thing here. And, I know when we talked the other day, you were saying that you really had to relearn the track, with the revolver, because you built the confidence in the car with that tire, that you could actually make that jump. Why don't you talk, to everyone a little bit about the feeling that you had? Because this race has a lot of ebbs and flows in it. There's a lot of different leaders. There's a few more mistakes than we normally see, in a Worlds, in 2023 as an example. And there's a lot of lead changes. How did that play out for you as a driver? What went through your mind as you were making your way up, through to the front of the pack and, leading the 60-minute main, probably with 10 minutes to go?
Yes, it's just I remember I just so much kind of enjoy to just a battle with all of the world's top guy in the final, because of course it's everybody want to win if who joined the Worlds, especially who made the grand final. But it's kind of this time, the 2008 Worlds, we also aim to the winning. We wish or we hope to win for the Worlds, but it's we also know that the true positions, like really we can win or not, or really I can win or not. Of course, it's like 50-50. Maybe I can win, maybe if it's lucky or something like this. But it's kind of, I have relaxed at times because of maybe not so much too much tense for the winning, because of not sure I can win or not. Maybe that make me a little bit more relaxed, just more enjoy to the the battle with the top guys. And then I just realized more. I get more nervous than maybe just the last 10 minutes because of I thinking about maybe really I can win, because I know that I fight for the winning. I have good positions maybe, but it's I don't know how when it's my the last pit stop, or the other guys how many time more pit stop, and then when I have last pit stop, I think it's 52 minutes, 53 minutes, and then 7 or 8 minutes to go. Then I realized, this is maybe the last pit stop, maybe no more pit stop, but there's no one in front of me. And then I hear the announce, the Mike Truhe, the seconds, but it's already 12 seconds behind. So the 12 second mean, I think it's, I don't know where he is. I can't see his car. So it just, normally, it's the second place is more far away from me. Normally it's more relaxed, but that time I get a little bit more nervous because I don't want to make any mistake. I don't want to lose this race. So I just overthinking to safety drive, or just to drive around. I should just drive around, but I just more nervous, make more slow lap times. So I think it's now I check the lap chart during the final. I think it's the last maybe 5 minutes was super slow. I didn't jump anything. Just it's some of the jumps I just do a single. But that thing makes more to confident for the Truhe, because he can see my car every lap. I think 1 or 2 seconds faster than my lap times to the end. So he catch me to the last lap, but I think it's just enough to just enough distance to win. So I make 15 minutes, no pressure, no nervous. I just enjoy. But the last 10 minutes for sure, I think this is the biggest pressure. It's still until now, I think this is the biggest pressure in my RC career, I think.
And that's interesting, because this is not the first World Championship that you've won, right? You win previously to this. So I'm really interested to hear that this is the biggest pressure that you've ever felt. Maybe talk to us a little bit about the first World Championship, and then contrast that with why do you think that this felt more pressure for you? Because you won in 2000, right?
Yes, my first win in 2000 for touring cars in Yatabe, Japan. That times it's just the target, or the target is just the difference. That times I work for a Yokomo company as just a regular employee. I just want to be turned a professional drivers, but I need some big title to get the sponsor. So it's the 2000 Worlds. Why I went most is just I just want to quit just a regular employee and then I just want to be the full-time drivers. And I just believe it's a professional driver make more money than just a regular employee. So the aim's just a little bit more different. So pressure, same pressure, but it's different kind of pressure. 2000 in the Worlds, the HagBerg buggy Worlds, why I have more pressure? Because of this World's gonna be huge if I win, because of all of the electric top drivers like Trujillo, Mayfield, the Cav, Thibaut, and then everyone's who are the top driver from 10 scale electric buggy. Everyone joined for this time. I think this is the first time. I think we call 8 scale buggy first world war. I think it's a so high competition than before, and race in US. So everybody most of people think American drivers win because of it's their home, and then maybe some of the European guys also really fast. So I think no one think I win, even includes me. I wish I win, but it's just I think it's just really it's really hard to win that time. So I think I don't much have chance to win, but it's actually after around 15 minutes in the final, and I can see maybe I have a chance to win. It makes me more pressure, more nervous, because if I win this one, I think I can change even more bigger than year 2000 Worlds, because of different situations. And everybody think this is most tough, the Worlds. It's compared to the other category. So because there's so many drivers, just the same. I don't know, 20 drivers, 30 drivers. Now I think it's also the same. There's so many people have the skill, and then many people have a chance to win. So yeah, to make me more nervous this final, this 8 scale buggy final, because I don't think I win. Weird to say, but it's something like this.
I have a question for you, Hara. So at this point in 2008, had you been doing any off-road, 8 scale off-road, or was this just kind of like because I know you was predominantly on-road. Was this just like something you was trying, or was it something that you focused on?
Actually, I start 8 scale buggy seriously year 2005.
Okay.
Like 3 years before the Worlds. And then HB doesn't, the Hot Police doesn't have really good competition car, just RTR home. Oh
shit. He's got something playing on the background.
Okay.
No worries.
So, yes, that times HB the Hot Police have the call names Lightning RTR buggy car, which is just a pure OEM things, nothing special, just a durable RTR cars. And then we started with that RTR riding car, but of course it's okay, just drive around is okay, but not fast. So we start development Lightning 2, which it's more competitive than in the first Lightning. And then we have a plan to bring that car to join the 2006 World. The 2006 World in Indonesia. I think we canceled that race. We have planned to go that race before our first World, but we canceled because of, I think, some like situation in the country or something like safety reason. I don't remember what exactly the reason, but I think we just didn't go because of some.
You and a lot of other drivers. I think a lot of the American drivers and European guys didn't go.
Yeah,
as well in 2006.
I think for me the same reason. I like to go there, but I think company said no because of some safety reason. So actually, my experience for the 1.8 buggy car is just not super new. Just I have some prepare and then some get experience before this World. And then I joined with that riding car, the Lightning car, in lower nationals. That time I'm allowed to race to the lower nationals. After that, just the international guys cannot race anymore. But that time it's kind of not free, but I live in the US that time, so it's kind of easy to join the lower nationals. I've been there 2 times. I think I make 2 times the final. They make in the MA, I think. And then I do more the race scale buggy in Japan and the other Asia countries like FEMCA and Japan Nationals. So, and then we developed this D8 with Josh Alton. He's the designer of the car. And so finally we make the brand new car from Hot Bodies, like no more Lightning cars, no more OEM cars. So the Josh designed the cars, and then we test. We go into the Charlotte one time for free practice. We lent that track because the track, I remember, it's not open for everyone. I think I have to book some of the days, and then we have to pay like for the days, like one day, few $100, I think. Then we stayed, I think, 3 days for the test for the new D8 cars. So we already have the base set up before the Worlds, and then we joined the warm-up race also. So the preparing for this Worlds, actually, I think it's good preparing. Not crazy practice, but at least we do some the preparing for the winning for the Worlds. So.
Awesome. I'm looking at Scotty here. Wow, this is 2008. He looks so young. Everybody looks so young in this video. Interesting. Something you mentioned that I guess we can see. This was kind of like the transition from the old school Degani, Saxton, Bradley, those type of guys, because I think this was the last time Bradley didn't make a Worlds final, if I remember correctly. He tried to bump up. So you saw this transition from that old school attitude era of RC, as I call it, to what we have now, which is the Mayfields and all these guys that are, Mayfield, well, even now, not now transitioning to their final part of RC. But this is when we saw that transition. 8 scale was booming at this point as well. But this is when we saw the transition from, oh man, I should have kept this up on her. This is when we saw the transition of these guys, the old school guys and the new school guys coming around. This is, I think, when 8 scale took a complete different turn and became even more popular, especially with coverage like this and your win. And, I think nobody really expected you to win this. So it was a shock. And I mean, look at it. It's congratulations. Drinking a beer. Hey, I don't blame you. I'd have a few beers after this. Man, 2008 hairstyles. It was something else. This is before iPhones and everything else. It looks like her. Awesome.
What I'd like to, sorry to cut you off here, Ken, but what I'd really like to see is, or hear about, is just how much impact that Muran also had in your program, Hara. I mean, if you look back sort of a couple of years at World Championships, the guys really struggled to keep the car running, and all of a sudden, there was a fair portion of drivers finishing this main, and it made that last minute sort of so interesting, having quite a few drivers there that really could still contend for the win at the end. And obviously, Muran worked pretty heavily with you leading up to the World Championships, and you did a lot of testing together in the States. And yeah, just sort of interested to hear, I guess, like how he sort of played his part as well.
Yes. The Muran at that time, I think it's for me, I think it's that time, I think it's his kind of best time to it's biggest motivation that time to get the work with me. He prepared in the car. It's just so nice. He just thinking about how to make a better speed for the cars. So he make all of the lightweight parts, special made lightweight parts for the Worlds, like many like aluminum parts. He prepared for the Worlds, and then for sure the engines he prepared super nice. He braking by himself. like old school style, like just a landing brake in. It's takes so long. I think it's a week, maybe more, because we have like 3, 4, 5 engines after the brake in. But he said like just the slowly landing brake in is much better the performance at the end, more the torque of the engines, more stable, more mileage, and then so he spent so much time to prepare the engines. So also his tuning it's kind of the perfect the tuning for different than the others, because if we use a plastic clutch, the carbon plastic 3 shoe, all of them the carbon shoe. No, we don't use aluminum shoe. It makes more less heat for the engines, more mileage for the engine. So I think his idea to use all of the 3 carbon shoe. I think this just also makes more to get more chance to win for this world for sure. And I think it's I don't know how, it was just that the car is just so perfect, just to like no play, it's just no leak any oils. I think it's just the quality of this time the D8 was also pretty good, because I feel like still I can learn with this car. Yeah, the engine.
Yeah, and like when you look at that HP now, there's still a lot of parts that are somewhat comparable to what's in the kit today. And
right,
I guess you and Muran were pretty fundamental in that early stage of transitioning the Lightning into what is obviously a very competitive package still, even to today, sort of thing. And you've put a lot of time and effort, I'd imagine, in that pre-testing and the ideas that you and Muran both put into the car to really transform it in the pace from that Lightning to where it's obviously performed in the finals which was obviously a very much an early prototype buggy still to what we sort of see today.
Yes, and also this car, the most crazy thing was the price of the cars. It's just only like $400 US.
I remember.
Price, I think, yeah. I don't remember retail price, but straight price, I think I remember like $400 US, maybe less.
And I remember until like day after Worlds, then it was like $650, $700 US like the next day.
Yeah.
But I actually bought the buggy after you won the Worlds, and I remember I went to Indonesia, and you were at that race as well, and I went with obviously a very stock HB that was not anything comparable to what you were running. And I think we both weighed our cars at that event, and my car was like 450 grams heavier or something than your World's winning buggy that you'd taken to that event afterwards. So obviously a lot of additional parts on that car to bring it down to probably legal weight, which would have helped with fuel mileage as well. Yeah, longer shock.
I mean, that normal length, but
yeah,
they come with Leah also used the front shocks, super short front shock on the Leah in the kit. This is one of the biggest mistake from the Josh Alton designs.
Look at that rear
only one thing. Yeah, it's just
look how wide that is.
Have a go
at
the rear
it's pretty wide. Yeah,
I had the car against my car, obviously with the current D8 at home. That rear pivot, it's like as wide as a bulldozer. It's huge.
Yeah. I think it's I remember the arm length was same as Kershaw at times. It's arm length was same, but it's the Kershaw is narrow pivot, and then the wider the rear hub. Yeah, more offset than the rear hub. But this one is the other way.
Yeah. Well, it's cool. I think one of the interesting things, Keenan, you touched on this a little bit before. That 2008 Worlds, it was a real transitional time, because what we started to see was the influx of the electric drivers, into 8 scale. And that just, it changed everything. My background's in electric, from the 80s, and I knew the electric guys really well. And then all of a sudden, it was the merging of 8 scale off-road and the fast 10 scale electric guys, right? Okay, I'm on my second as well.
Another
The Ryan, and the Jared, and everyone came over. The quality, of the fields just increased dramatically, and I think that for me is the genesis of why 8-scale off-road today, certainly in my view, is the premier class, because everyone who's anyone is racing it for the world's win. And Hara, you've been involved, and I think this is potentially why you've been so popular outside of the great bloke and the person that you are, is you've been able to compete for some amazing wins at World Championships, at FEMCAs. You and I have had a couple of close races at FEMCAs in semifinals, which if we get time to talk about, we can have a laugh about. But you've been involved in some of the most climactic World Championships there has been. If I think back to, potentially what's quoted as the best race of all time, you and Reinhard in, ONROAD back in Bangkok, that was a phenomenal race. So you've been able to have this career that has crossed both on-road electric, off-road electric, nitro buggy, and 8-scale. I mean, you've been a master of all disciplines at different times in your career. I'd love to hear a little bit about, your feelings as a driver in the, I think it was the 2008 Worlds with Hara in Bangkok. And then, you were again down to the wire in 2010 at the Nitro Buggy Worlds in Pattaya, where you got a black flag, which, I think was uncalled for in a racing incident. And then we go to 2012 and you and Gillies battle it out, and Gillies just sends his car across the line in Hampstead to win. I mean, you've just been involved, I think, in more nightmares than anyone I can think about in the RC arena when it comes to World Championships. Why don't you tell us some stories? I know that the listeners would love to hear about, those three, especially, the Reinhard and then the nightmare with Gillies.
Yeah, I think it's for me, my opinions, I was just so lucky to be there. Just timing, timing is good, because when I was my peak of the driving skill or my driver level, I think probably my peak was 2008 with the Mark. Yeah, this race. I don't want to see this one because I lose this race. Just kidding, but yeah, I know I didn't make any podium this race. I fight with Mark. I got TQ, and then I win the first AMA, but the second one and third one I finished like 4th or 5th. So actually, I didn't make a podium that time. But many people think I was second because of people just remember just only 83 only. So Mark win, I lose, but I don't finish the second. So yeah, just I think this generation's just also the peak of just each manufacturer have the color of the image. Like Tamiya is Tamiya blue, HPI Hot Bodies have the purple colors, and then X they have the gold, and Yokomo also have a Yokomo blue, and then even the driver have some like big, like super big image. Tamiya is Mark, HPI is me, Masami is Yokomo, associated, Yuho is associated, and yeah, many guys just have the kind of the big character from the sponsors, the drivers, each manufacturer. So if there's many fans around the world, it's just I think it's the community also bigger than now. I think at times, so it's like more exciting to watch every races fight against each manufacturers, and then plus the like live broadcasts like RC Racing TV and then RaceCraft RC. I think this 2007, 2008, I think it just started this nice. They started nice broadcast. So I think this is also one of the lucky reasons why I say lucky, because people can see from the laptop or anywhere with the live broadcast. So race for sure, this is really exciting and dramatic, and then it is like high level of the driving. But I think it's just many good timing to show this race in just right timing. I think same for the 1A buggy Worlds. If we don't have Rivalry that time, I think it's still people not that much big talk about, even like after many years later. So good race plus good live broadcast, and also kind of the many fans on each manufacturers. I think this just makes more it's kind of people are interesting to watch, and people still remember. And then to talk about Tokyo again with this 2008 Worlds in Thailand for 10 scale touring course. I think many people already know. It's me and then Mark, maybe two guys, just have a chance to big win. Two guys have a chance to win because Mark also fast. I also have good speed. The qualifying, I dominate the qualifying. It's my car's always good at time. And then the final, Tamiya car is always better in less heat. My car is good in heat because the Bangkok is always hot. But in the final, it's going to be a little bit late. Then they change the temperature a little bit more down, and then maybe cloud, no more sunny. Then the track temperature going down. And Mark's car, I think, is kind of the best with that conditions. So his pace was better than mine. But I have to just stay the front of him and just broken him. But he just, I remember just the sweeper, just the end of the back straight where he just come into my cars, and then I think almost touched but didn't touch. So he just constantly so hard, so strong. I think this moment now. Oh yeah, this one, yes. A little bit touch, but I think this is really nice pass. And then I got a little bit. Oh yeah.
I mean, it's an amazing pass, right?
Yeah, I think it's like this is actually our first time see this. So slow motion and then so close, because I don't want to see this video because I know this happens. Yeah,
he's up on the curb. He's up on the curb. I think it's side by side. It's a great pass. It's a great race.
Right.
I can only imagine you're feeling it. I think you raised a really interesting point, though, as you talked us through that, Hara, which was for us as an RC community, and maybe we all don't recognize this enough, but we probably need to really recognize that live RC really changed RC significantly for all of us and for the community. I know I quite often listen to different podcasts across the world, and I think it's one in the UK. They had Scotty on the other week, and they ask, what is one of those transformational things that you recognize in RC? And lots of people say, oh, it's spectrum and things like that. Or Scotty mentioned as an example Bob Novak and brushless. I think you raised a really interesting point that I don't think I've heard anyone talk to before, which was what Brandon developed with live RC in a way transformed how we consume our racing. Many of us that have been in this for decades used to have to just read magazines and wait months for the results to come out. We were able to live and breathe this in real time, which was amazing for all of us. So why don't you share a little bit about some of the thoughts and feelings you had when we moved to the 2010 Worlds? So we go to Pattaya in Thailand. I think you're living there at that time, and you're really a bit of a hometown favorite, so to speak, and you do very well at this Worlds. There's a prediction that potentially you could go back to back. You do a lot of practice at the track. It's a super technical track. I think probably still to this day the most challenging 8-scale Worlds track that we've seen. And there's this moment where there's a single double and a double single, and you get a black flag, and that really impacts the whole race. Why don't you talk us through a little bit about that and how that lands with you during the race? Because I can only imagine what that was like.
Stop and go.
Stop and go.
Yep.
Stop and
go. Yeah, the 2010 the Worlds in Pattaya. It's more there's just a different pressure to compared to 2008 Worlds, because of after I win the Worlds, still people think maybe I just win the lucky. I want to prove I'm not just the lucky to win for the 2008 Worlds. So I just want to show everyone it's not just a lucky. So 2010 Worlds, luckily I live in Thailand, so many people think I was living in Pattaya and then practice every day at track to make a home advantage. But actually, the Pattaya track, it's nothing. I'm not living in Pattaya. I live in Bangkok, and then the track is always just changed. Especially just normal day in Pattaya, they don't put any spray on the track. Just dry out. No clean, and the track condition it's always so big difference. So it's kind of no point to practice over there in the normal day. I couldn't make any good experience with that normal day. Oh yeah, this is I still remember this layout. It's a long time I don't see these ones. So and then I already knew it. They're gonna change the whole layout. It's a completely new layout, and plus they put molasses. They put the sugar cane at times. I don't remember. I think sugar cane. Huh?
Oil.
Oil. Oh yeah, it's not the sugar cane. It's oil.
Yeah.
Just the dark oil. So I think they put the dark oil not many months ago from the Worlds. Even like pre-World, I think they put some oil, but I think not this much. So my car is just a good all week, but it's just it's kind of because we don't challenge the new setup. Just almost it's the same setup from 2008 World car. We make just a new body shell, which is more getting popular for the cab forward style of the body shell. And I switched from the Pro line to HB tires. The name's Megabyte. Looks like a whole shot tire, but it works pretty well in Pattaya track. So I stay with the HB, the Megabyte tires, and that's only the things we prepare for the Worlds. So we don't have any advantage from the cars and the engines, because it's already people learn from 2008. So no one make like 5 or 6 minutes on time, except Mayfield. Mayfield, I think, still run 6 minutes, 5:30 pit lane that 2010. But everyone can drive like 8 minutes, 9 minutes. So the pit strategy, everybody's same. So there's no more advantage, anything. Just need a pure driving skill to win another one for another World Champions. So I just practice more, focus on to get more driving skill, like more speed, how to get more speed from my driving. So I focus on the practice, not from setup, just more the driving skill. So yeah, but no one knows like who's fast in that track after start the Worlds. No one I don't think it's Cody gets super fast at that time. I thought maybe Mayfield or Tebow or the other guys is just more can be my biggest competitors. But actually Cody's like he killed everyone.
I have a question. Also, this is, I would say 2010, so it's 2 years after 2008 Worlds. This is when I would say we also saw the switch from it being mostly dominated, or not dominated, but mostly the domination coming from the European side of things. And this is when the Americans kind of come into this and start dominating, even though they had won 2 previous Worlds prior to this. But this, like I said, we see the Testmans and the Mayfields and all these guys. This is when they put more focus on 1/8 skill. But I have a question because Ben brought up a good point. He said this is a very difficult track. What was probably the most difficult part about this track? I have a feeling it was that fence on the side of it. That looks like it hurt a lot of people.
Yeah, I think it's just it's kind of weird. It's just a weird weird feeling from driver stunt. It's nowhere it's like flat. It's everywhere have angle, and many they have off camber. In all the hairpins, they have some like there's off camber everywhere. So overshoot, undershoot, it's kind of so difficult. And all of the jump shape was, not like US or European style. It's like Asian style. So it's just hard to make the correct distance and angle every time because of everywhere I just have funny angle. And plus this oil surface, I remember if you stay on the line, the grip is good, but it's some spot have still dust. So the line, the racing line was super narrow. So it makes more difficult to keep the consistent lines, I think.
And there is such a thing as an Asian style track because we look at this track, we look at the Scenic track, and now recently the Philippine Masters track. I don't see tracks like this built anywhere else besides Asia. Lots of off-camber jumps. Like the Philippine Masters track, Scenic track are like I know I would crash 1,000,000 times on those tracks, but very unique style from Asian tracks. I know I'm going off on a tangent, but where do you think that comes from?
Well, I think it's just it's hard to say, but it's off-road culture in Asia was not huge. It's just we tried to copy from the Western culture for off-road because it's off-road from I think it's America. I don't know. I think most popular from US and Europe also the popular, but I think different style, like something like a mix with the mixed surface like AstroTurf and concrete or bricks and the dirt and everything. But in Asia mostly no jump. Just sand or pure dirt. Me and Zac and Ben all the time talk about why in Japan never have like American style or just a popular style track in Japan. We have almost no nice track in Japan. It's just old local style, old school style only. Still now, we don't have like a Pattaya track. We don't have like Cinetic track. Like we don't have Philippine Master track in Japan. So I think it's still in Japan doesn't have chance to make any nice international race because we don't have any like a international track. So, but this Pattaya track, I think it's kind of starting to make some of like a Pattaya track also can accept from American drivers or European drivers. Oh, maybe this track is okay. It's something unique, but it's not a typical, not typical the Asian style track. So this point, I think, is also Cinetic to make more the better track because if they can see what is the Pattaya track and what people want to change. So I think Cinetic and then the Philippine Master track, I think it's the starting point from this Pattaya track. It's my opinions.
Yeah, I think the interesting thing here is in Asia, we have to give a lot of kind of respect to Charlie because Charlie, who owned Pattaya and put it together, he pushed the limits. I mean, we've heard from Hara. Zac and I both drove on this track. Zac actually raced the Worlds. I raced at Buggy Party after the Worlds. I just moved to Singapore at this stage, and I came over to watch the Worlds and help Andrew and Josh and Zac. And what people don't appreciate with this track is, and I think Hara, touched on a little bit, there was absolutely no time to breathe on it. There was always something going on. And I remember the first couple of laps that I had driving on it 2 months after the Worlds was the first time I met Degani as well, which was a funny adjacent story. But, there was no time to do anything. You blink, you crash on this track. And if you crashed, you hit a metal fence and you broke a front arm or something like that. It was a great track to hold a Worlds A main because it really tested the world's best drivers. I mean, you know, when you see Hara and Mayfield and Cody and Jared and, you know, they were all pushing themselves as much as they could. And it was a phenomenal race. And then the Cinetic guys went and built a track that was really out of this world. I'll never forget when I went to that track the first time. I thought, this can't be for RC cars. You know, I think I was there where I flew over from Singapore and Robert was on the same flight as me. And we got to the track and we looked at it and we just looked at each other and shook our head and thought, like, this is for BMX bikes, because the scale of the track in Cinetic was much larger. One of the things that Pattaya had going for it was surrounded by containers. It was in an amphitheater. And what I've subsequently worked out with tracks is that works very good for the human visual perception. If you have something behind the track that really blocks it out, and you don't see anything in your peripheral vision, it gives you a great ability to race on the track. Cinetic was huge. Cinetic was undoubtedly the biggest track I've ever been to. You know, when you turn up there, your lap time is in excess of 60 seconds. When you get a good lap in, you know, you're down in the low 50s and 51s, but it takes a lot of laps to get there because the track is just so very large. You know, so you do a 7-minute practice run, you get 7 laps. You know, you've gone around each corner only 7 times. It's really difficult to race on. So the guys in Asia, you know, they've always post this 2010 Worlds built great tracks and produced them. You know, Alvin in Malaysia would do the same thing with RCC, and then Three Stone Park. You know, they built some really, really good tracks to race on that tested drivers, and I think the drivers enjoyed it. You know, we saw that through different FEMCA races that we had, and you know, Hara was FEMCA champion many times, and you know, he tells me that he might be making an appearance in Vietnam next year for FEMCA. So hopefully we'll see Hara race there as well.
Zach, that's real quick before I go to Zach. I like the peripheral vision, having stuff in the background. I kind of reckon that to cricket and having to have a sight screen like behind each time where you're burning so the batsman can see the ball. Zach, you went to this race. Tell me what you remember about this race.
Yeah, I mean, at the time I had sort of just started work, so I hadn't really had much racing under my belt leading up to the event. And I think I had been given a car from Agama at that point in time, and they moved the engine right into the middle of the car, and I just had no time with the car, and the car really wasn't very good. And because it was really just their first attempt at a car, and it was really off balance, and man, I couldn't even do one lap. And I think halfway through the event, I sort of just given up and just decided to get on the beers and have a good time. And I still remember this being really one of the best meetings I've ever been to, not because I was racing, more just because of the experience of, you know, witnessing everyone racing on, you know, on this just crazy track. And, you know, I'd had some good times at this track beforehand. Obviously, when I had a bit more time outside of uni, and Charlie had just developed so many interesting tracks leading up to this. You know, this track that he created for the Worlds. You know, this was after sort of many lessons learned, making just really ridiculous, crazy tracks, which he just really tested out what worked and what didn't work. And he just made such 3D tracks with really big berms and big off-camber sections. And you could see, you know, every bit that he put into this track was sort of a learning of what he tested, you know, over years leading up to this. And, you know, it's such a shame to see this venue go. I mean, it was just such a good place. And, you know, where you go and have a good time with your friends, and then also, you know, during the day, you'd get straight on the track. I'm not sure if I could probably do it these days. I'd probably be just under the pit table in the aircon for the day, recovering from the amount of beers that we had drunk. But yeah, awesome facility and awesome track. And, you know, we've sort of probably seen a bit of a reduction in some of these crazy facilities in Asia. And, unfortunately, we really have only got the Philippines now that's probably to this standard and this level. I mean, not only was the track in Thailand amazing, but just all of the surrounding facilities. You don't really have anything comparable to that. And Philippines is probably the only track that we've got now in Asia comparable.
Yeah, and for those of you that don't know, one of the things that was great, just to kind of build on that for those listeners that have never been to the Pattaya track, what was amazing was it was, not a half hour or an hour or a 2-hour drive from your hotels. It was 15 minutes away from your hotels and restaurants and nightlife and everything. So it was just a really well positioned track. And as Zac says, it's such a shame that we've lost that. It was a world-class facility, and Charlie built great tracks. The baton has been passed to Edward Seo in the Philippines, and he's been building on his Philippine Masters events for many, many years now. And, the tracks that he's building are just phenomenal. What we had last year it reminded me a little bit of this track. There was something going on in every corner. Every jump was on an angle, and you had no time to rest, and it really challenged all the drivers. It was amazing. I remember talking to Ongaro at dinner one night, and he was just blown away with the track. Robert came out with JQ, and Robert turned to me. I remember after practice at one morning, and he said, "Ben," he said, "this track is crazy." He said, "If this was in Spain, no one would come back tomorrow." He said, "It's just too difficult. There's too many jumps on too many angles. It's too many crashes possible. It's too hard." He said, "I don't know what's with these tracks in Asia, but everyone is going to come back tomorrow." And I said, "Yeah, everyone will be back. Like we like the challenge." So, I think we're very lucky to have had, some generations like Charlie in, the Thailand track. We had Alvin in Malaysia. We've got the Cinetic team here. I mean, look at this. There's nowhere in the world that you can build, and most of you are probably listening to this on audio, so it's hard to reference, but we're seeing video now of the Cinetic track in Surabaya in Indonesia. And, I raced there 4 or 5 times. The track is on a scale unlike anything that anyone has ever driven. And, if you think about some of the occupational health and safety rules and safety rules that we have in countries, you couldn't build a track like this in Australia or Europe or the US. It wouldn't be possible. And it took a team of motocross track builders over 3 months by hand to build this track in late 2010, early 2011. And it was a phenomenal place to race. And Tego Santoso and, the team in Indonesia were just extremely welcoming. And I would have loved to see a Worlds on this track. I think if there's a track that would have tested the world's best, this would have been an amazing layout to race a Worlds on. I raced here with Thibaut and Robert in 2013, and they were both like, "Wow, how do we have a Worlds here? This would be phenomenal."
Yeah, and amazing. I think you touched on that, Ben. Like nowhere else is going to be able to produce something like this. I mean, you can see the amount of angle and elevation these jumps have got. I mean, I'm sure they would have had some machines to position the dirt there, but majority of all the jump faces and the sheer angle that everything's been built at is all because people have been doing it by hand. And it's just the huge amount of labor that goes into producing some of these crazy tracks. I think the figure the Cinetic guys talked to was around 20,000 US, and that was predominantly just labor. And that would be, probably 30 people over a couple of months shaping. And like I remember they were patching jump faces in Cinetic, and they have 10 people out there with big wooden hammers, and that's how they were packing the track down. And so just the crazy amount of time and investment that was put into some of these tracks This isn't a track that was just built with a bobcat over two days or 3 days. This is something that's been built over a couple of months, and it's all just done mainly by manpower and without machines.
Awesome. Hara,
yes.
Quick question. So what did you get a stop and go for at the 2010 Worlds?
The one of the triple jumps, I do a double single most of the time.
Mm-hmm.
And then I remember also most of the driver do double single. But I think only Thibaut, he do a single double the other way. So some of the point, I just drove just behind him, and we have, I think it's a battle for first. I think it's the battle for first place. Then I do double single, and then he do single double. So it's just a crash, just a crash in the air. But it's just hard to. I think Thibaut just do single double only that time. I don't know. I don't remember. He do all the time double single, or all the time single double. I don't remember, but I think he do single double that lap. So maybe I thought maybe he do double single also. So I don't think about crash to him, but actually he do single double. So I just I couldn't slow down. I couldn't. It's just too late for the break, and then it's just crash in the air. Then I got to stop and go. But actually Thibaut doesn't get any upside down. I think we crash in the air, but it's the end. We don't need the marshals, so it's not huge damage for the both of us. But I got the penalty with that triple jump.
What do you remember at what time it was in the race? Like,
I think it's middle of the race. You remember Ben? Remember the Ben?
Pretty early on, yeah. I think.
Early on, yeah.
It's middle of the race. It was one of those ones that, and I've watched this final because this is, if anyone hasn't watched the 2010, Pattaya Buggy Nitro final, go watch it. It's a phenomenal race because the lead changes. At one point Mayfield looks like winning. Thibaut looks like winning, but he's got the wrong tires on the front from memory. He's got super soft instead of soft, and he runs out of rubber. So there's lots of different possibilities for winners. Cody obviously wins in the end and drives a great race. Hara looks like he will win and he gets a stop go. It's an awesome race. 60 minutes goes by in a flash, and of course we've got Scotty commentating, which is brilliant. But yeah, that was early on, and it sets you back a little bit, Hara. But if my memory is correct, I think you're still able to be in touch. And then in that jump section, as we head up to the back of the track before the big double, there is the staggered jumps. And I think at that point, with maybe less than 5 minutes to go, you're hunting down Cody, and I think you crash there, and it takes the marshal a long time to get to you.
Yeah, I think I crashed in the worst spot, I think.
And when you look at the tires, I think a lot of people were struggling with tread, but for whatever reason, I'm not sure if the tires you had been working on were starting to look at long wear compounds or something, but that HB Harabite tire or whatever was really in a league of its own there, hey? Because you had quite a bit of tread by the end of the final compared to, say, anyone else.
Yeah, it's just a HB Megabyte red compound. I mean, it's medium compound. It's soft is pink, red is medium, and white is hard. Even like hard, I think if I put the white compounds, I think it's just too hard. The lap time gets slower. So qualify, I use the pink, the soft tires, and the semifinal and the final I use the red, the medium compound. The thread just looks like a whole shot. I think a little bit bigger than the whole shot, but some reason the lava compound, I think it's a perfect match for the oil surface. Just doesn't get much wear. It's just so consistent whole weekend with that tire. So I think it's the tire choice, the HB tire. I think in the final, I think only me. No one used HB tire in the final because of everybody have tire sponsors. No manufacturers making the tire at that time. So no car manufacturer.
Nearly unheard of, really, at that point in time. Like, I don't think anyone had really seen or heard of the tire, and then you'd done some, obviously, quite a bit of testing beforehand. But like you said, Charlie never oiled the track to the degree that he did. Like that track that was at the Worlds was sort of pretty unique. But you'd already worked out the tires beforehand, or?
I just no choice. I don't have that time. That time I don't have any choice. I have to use HP tires. It's the second choice. I if I want, I can use the AKA tire at times, because I have a good relationship with the Mark Babidis when he switched to AKA from Proline. Also, I think about maybe AKA is one of the good choice, but it's kind of hard to get the ship over to Thailand. So I just stay with. I just decided to use HB tires because much more easy to get. It's any times, and then when I tested the pre-World, they put a little bit oil, like same as like Worlds, but not that much as the Worlds. But when I tested, compared to the other brand tire to HB is just lap time was same, but just more consistent. So I just decided the HB tires because of it's more easier.
Awesome.
So you end up finishing second there, which is amazing behind Cody, and he takes down his first Worlds win, which was phenomenal. We go to another Worlds then, I think 2012 from memory, and we're back to on-road with touring car, and it's another phenomenal finish with you and Gilles. Why don't you share a little bit about that one? Because that one I don't think anyone has experienced before, right? It was a super crazy race. Tell everyone a little bit about that race.
Yes, it's that Worlds. It's also I normally think I can fight for winning with that time because of I'm getting also old, and then new guys came out. The new guys, more new guys came for the Worlds, like Ronald Walker. I think Bruno still not the race at time. I think Ronald Naoto, some of the new guys is just more competitive for the world. And before the race, I think most of people think Ronald Walker win because his package Yokomo and LRP was just crazy fast. Warm-up race he dominate. We went to practice and his lap time was so fast. So and then spec tires and all with no additive. I think it's only the one time IFMA decide to race no additive. Just I think tire warmer still allowed to use it, but it's only just before the race, only 5 minutes you can put the tire warmer because of the temperature in September or October the Worlds. It's not super hot. It's have to use a tire warmer for a good start. So the tire grip, I think, is one of the worst tire grip during the race because we don't use additive. And the Ronald's car, Yokomo car have so much tractions, and then LRP motors, speedos have so crazy fast. Oh yeah, this one. And HB that time the car is okay. It's not bad, but it's nothing special, and actually a little bit slower than the other Tamiya or Yokomo cars. So nobody think also. Nobody think I TQ the time is, but this one is kind of a little bit lucky. In the final round of the qualify, I think round 5 or round 6, they have rain, and they almost decide to stop the race, they cancel the round. But it's in the rules say it still can race in the rain. It won't put the rain tires. People can choose rain tires, so they decided to start the final round of qualify. Then my heat was just one before the last group, and then rain to stop, and then track getting dry. My heat, I think, is most dry, so more dry, more fast. So it's my lap time faster than the previous round, the group. So I have good times, but it's the last group still there. So I thought maybe I have to forget about TQ. But it's after my race, starting drop, some small drop in the rain. and then start last loop, and the rain getting more stronger, and it's getting more wet, and then lap time just 3 seconds, 4 seconds slower. So I got a TQ the last round. It's make me overall TQ. This is makes the lucky happenings to I got a TQ. Otherwise, I think I have to start third, I think. So TQ is always like a big advantage for 5 minutes race for the touring car. So it's one lucky rain situation for me to make the to fight for the winning. But it's kind of the behind story for this ones. I got the car. I bring like 3 or 4 cars for the test before the race, and then all of the cars doesn't work. It's just so slow, and I almost just kind of give up to prepare the good car for the Worlds. But one time I saw Shin Adachi. He also the same team that times. He worked for HB that times, and then I look at his car on the track. His car looks so much tractions, and I drove his car one time. It just feel much more traction. So I asked his setup, and then he set up something different than my car. So I just copy his setup with one of my trash car is just for the testing. So if the trash car going to my best car with Shin setup, and I tell the Shin I'm gonna use this car, this craft car for the Worlds, and then I 100% copy from Shin setup on my trash car, and then that trash car is going to somehow it's just one of my best car, just by far. So I a little bit more confident to start in qualify because of I feel like comfortable car with the Shin setup. So my qualify was just okay, just finished second and third, and I got the 4th and 5th. So A main is for making the A main just enough the speed, but for winning, still Ronald was super fast. So I need something extra. But the rains makes me the oval TQ. Then it's kind of the game to change. Ronald have to start second, and he's fast for sure. I think he's fastest for sure in that race. But I think he have a little bit more too exciting and too much big battle with me and Mark and then everyone. So he crashed a couple times, and then he lost the Worlds. But the Gillis, his home track here, he's not the fastest that time, but he's really consistent, especially with used set tire. New set tire always best for the touring car, but he doesn't much change the speed, new set or used set. So he's also really strong in the final because in the final, I remember only we have 1 set tire to use for the final, 3 main the final. So first main, everybody have to use a new set. So some of the guy didn't run for the first A main because they want the safe tire for the second A main, and they make the big advantage. But I have no choice because I have to TQ. I have to start from TQ, so I put the new tire. I just keep going, and then I leading race to the end. But Gillis came up, and then the pace was faster and faster, and then he catch me, and then I pass him back, and then. But in the last lap, I thought I have one more lap because of the finish is so close. Finish line. Before the finish line, I hear still like 5 seconds left, so maybe I can go one more lap, but it's wrong. Its time is over. And then I didn't make a push in the last corner of the finish line, but Gillis he just full throttle to finish pass the finish line. So he passed. I think I don't know how many seconds, maybe 200 of seconds. He closed the line earlier, so but that first A main decide everything for overall winning because of even I win for the other A2 or A3. Still if tie breaker they pick up the best time with that time. So the new set tire always more fast. So I win the A3, but its time is slower. So we are tiebreaker, but he win because he have faster times. Yeah, that's all the story about the 2012.
I'm looking at a young Ronald Volker.
Yeah.
Wow. So I have a question, because you've been able to race at touring car when it's at its peak, 8 scale, when I would say it was really starting to kick over with the, like you said, with Mayfield and those guys. Which one of these classes was more nerve-wracking for you? Which one did you enjoy more?
Actually, 1/8 buggy.
Okay. And what was the reason for that?
Because of it's more competitive.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like more drivers, more top drivers in 1/8 buggy, and then long distance race for the final. So anything can happen if you have the speed. But touring cars or all of the electric, it's the competitive drivers was not many as 1/8 buggy. I think it's more small. It's more less people for fighting for the winning. And then
even at its peak, with Barry Baker and all them guys in it as well.
Yeah, it's only 8 scale buggy. People can send 20 drivers or 30 drivers. It still have chance to win because of the speed level was pretty close, and then the long distance race. But the touring cars and even like electric buggy, it's not there is many people have a chance to win. It's maybe less than 10 guys. And then the qualify also decide everything. Even the guy, he's fastest guy, but he a little bit too much mistake, and then if he have to start from 4th or 5th, 6th in a main, I think is still almost no chance to win for the final for electric car, because only they have 5 minutes only.
Interesting. Where's Gillies from anyway? I missed that. Is he from Holland?
Yeah, he's home. This track is his home track.
Okay,
in Netherlands.
Okay,
but he's home track. But I think it's even for him. This is really hard to win because of the other Ronald. It's the other guys are much more faster than him. So yeah, the home track, but it's not easy for him.
Okay. Zac or Ben, do you have any more questions for Hara on those races?
Probably not about those races, but I mean, the people may not understand your, origins, I suppose, Hara, and they might think that you're more dedicated to on-road, but you had quite a big history in off-road, and maybe just touch on, I guess, the starting of your racing, when you sort of started to become a pro, and maybe some of the background of when you started to first get into RC.
So I turned to pro RC drivers year 2000 when I win the Worlds in Yatabe. That time I was work for Yokomo just as regular employee, and then I just quit. And then the Yokomo boss, Tom Yokobori, he just asked me why you want to quit, because you just win the Worlds. And I told him, I just want to be the pro drivers, which it's different than Masami, because Masami, he doesn't want to be the pro driver because of not stable, to get to survive in this industry. So he decided to stay in the company as employee. It's more safer for him. But I don't want to be same as him. Then I just also want to race in the worldwide. So I just looking for the sponsors after the quit the Yokomo. It's actually not easy to get sponsor with good deal, because of I win the Worlds, but still my name is not super big as Masami or Pavidis or Barry Baker. So it's kind of nervous or I'm not sure I can get the sponsors or not. But luckily I have the sponsor from HPI, which is I have to decide Tamiya, the contract with Tamiya or HPI that time. Two choice, because both are the good deal. And then the Tamiya gave me the deal earlier than HPI. They offer me this. For me, it's a big deal. And also they want to race in international, like they have office in the USA and in Europe, so they want to meet the traveling every other countries for the joint all of the competition race. But HPI, hey Ben, we went to the Shinagawa 2 days ago to get the D8. Actually, I met HPI boss named Tatsuro Watanabe. We met in the same hotel. It's not the same building, but it's the other ones, the Prince Hotel, same group. I went to Tokyo because of the HPI boss. He visited in Japan at times because he live in the US, but he have some other business reason to come to Japan. So he said he want to talk to me. It's the face to face to sign contract, or he just want to explain to me what deal he have. So it's before I met him. In my mind, I also 99% decide to join the Tamiya because the Tamiya have big name, especially in Japan. The Tamiya is huge. So for me, I think it's just more better with work with Tamiya because of big names. But as a deal, he gave me the from HPI was like almost double than the Tamiya. So it's no reason to say no because they gave me the big deal. But one thing I worry about HPI's the development level of the winning for any races, because HPI is not that time HPI is not the best car. They don't make any best car at times. They have some the touring cars. It's the base is really good, but they don't have big team, so no one make the good setup. So I just think if I just choose HPI, maybe I get more tough time after that with HPI. But as I ask one of my friends, he's the professional baseball player in Japan. He also played RC quite a lot, and he's the pro. The pro experience he have is huge because he already long time, like 10 years, 15, 20 years. He already play for the professional baseball sports in Japan. So I asked him to what I should to listen to decide which sponsor I have to take. And then he said, if somebody give you the best deal, the biggest deal, you have to take because of they want to pay you money more than the others because of it's more serious. And then it's the car development and then setup things, it's a small problems. He say, I can make better car. I can make the better setup to win for any races. So the deal is like more important for professional, the people. So I just, I take that advice. Then I decide to sign contract to HPI. It feels sorry to Tamiya at that time because we have really, really good meeting, and I just one thing to left. I just need to sign the contract paper. It's everything's done. But it's kind of feels sorry to Tamiya at that times. But I decided HPI. And then funny things, who talk with me in Tamiya with that contract things? It's Muran. It's after that he switched to HPI, but it's the Muran. He worked for Tamiya a long time, and then that times also the year 2000 2001 he worked for he still worked for the Tamiya. So and he's the guy to take care of the team, whole Tamiya racing team. So mainly I talk with Muran all the times, and then we are friends. So easy to talk him, but it's also the other hand, it's hard to say, the cancel the contract because of I take the deal. So this is
and during that time, touring car was obviously sort of one of the peak classes, I suppose. And so was your direction still to just focus on touring car when you were considering that contract, or was it was HB giving you the option to go down like 2 classes? Like you really look at your career through that period, and you were really focusing on those 2 classes and being able to be at the peak in both. But I'm not sure if Tamiya gave you that option, or was that part of your consideration?
Actually, both Tamiya and HPI, the other manufacturer also same. It's just only touring car at that time. No A-scale buggy, even HPI. It's no 10-scale buggy, no nothing. Just the touring car is just on fire at that time. So it's all of the buggy guys have to race on touring car. Also, like Mark Pavidis, he's pure buggy guy, but Associate have to sell the touring car with the name TC3, which is one of the best car in the market at times. He's not on-road guy, but also he have to more focus on on-road. So HPI also only focus on touring cars, and Tamiya also only focus on touring cars. But if I stay with Tamiya, I think I don't do challenge for 1.8 buggy. Then I think I don't race in 2008 Worlds if I choose Tamiya. So I think it's my decisions to HPI to sign contract. Also, the end is good for me because I have chance to join 2008 Worlds for the A-scale buggy. A-scale buggy also for HPI at the beginning of the day, they don't looking for racing competition cars, just only for to make RTR, to make the business for RTR cars. But the Tatsuro, he also loved to do any kind of racing. So he asked me to, hey Hara-san, if you can do any nitro cars or buggy or whatever, if I want any class, he say he want to make the competition level cars. And then I tell him, yeah, 10 scale electric car, I think I can do. I have experience, but nitro car, I have no idea. I never tried nitro car before. So he said, if somebody help you or the development of making good car for design and everything, if he prepare the designer or some people help, I won't try or not. Then I tell him, yes, I want to try. Then Tatsuro decided to hire the other more people for a racing team, and then the Muran is one of them. Tatsuro asked me who is the best guy to join, to take the new guy for the HPI. And I tell him, I think it's only Muran. Muran, I think he knows everything, nitro cars and electric car. He have also experience for one in on-road. He's kind of, he kind of knows everything. So, but he worked for Tamiya, and then he just win first time ever Tamiya win the World Championship year 2002 with the Suricon. He win the Touring Car Worlds. So me and Tatsuro talk about Muran, but it's Muran just to win the world. So I told maybe Muran doesn't want to switch to the other companies, but it's actually he himself. He also he think about to looking for the new sponsor, the new company for a new job, because he kind of getting boring with the Tamiya. He already win the worlds. It's kind of same as when I win 2000 with Yokomo. It's after get the dream, after dream come true, and then maybe looking for another new dreams. So for Muran, I think it's the same things. So he come to the US for some meeting with me and Tatsuro together, and Muran say, no, yeah, he interesting to switch to HPI, but he needed the time to prepare to quit Tamiya, because it cannot quit right now. But if have 3 months or 4 months, tell the Tamiya first, and then prepare for done all the project he have, and then I think after 3 months he moved to the HPI, and this makes it's kind of one of the part of story to winning for the 2008 World, I think.
Go ahead. Who is going to go next? We're watching your 2000 Worlds here from Yatabe Arena.
That's so old. Looks like so old.
I know. And some legends there. Pavitas, Nato, Masami, Billy Easton.
I'm thinking I even saw Drescher there. Was I mistaken, or did I see Drescher?
Yeah, he was there.
It's like a field of legends there. It was awesome. I'm like, there's Billy, there's everyone.
So actually, I want to talk about it's connecting to when we get to this, the winning card back in my hands. All right, the Pavitas here is just in now screen, 2000 Worlds in Yatabe for the touring car. Now Masami, Pavitas, and then I'm third. And the end I win with this race, but the Pavitas was like by far the fastest. The guy, I think if he starts from TQ, I'm sure he could win. But Masami got TQ and he's second and I'm third. And first two MA, A1, A2, after the start, I didn't much huge T-bone crash to him, but I touched him. And then this time, that time we use a front one-way driving train. So it's not as stable as what we use now, the spool different front. If you hit the brake, it's a car gets spin out. So it's hard to make, the close battle for the touring car at times. So right after the start, I touched the Mark's car, and then I think he lose this race because of I touched him at the start and the first two mains. And after this race, it's kind of we have broken the relationship, and I don't talk to him because I thought he's angry, and he also doesn't try to talk to me. So I remember 2 or 3 years, I think I don't talk with him after this race. But, so after 20 years later, 23 years later, he bring back me to this car. This is what, for me, is just so amazing, relationship is, we are enemies at times, and then we're competitors and enemies, but, back to the best friends, and then he helped me a lot. So when I see this race, it's kind of, the emotional is kind of weird. It's just so mixed up with the emotions.
It's good to see you showing emotion, because I did a review with Tebow the other day in his 10 scale off-road races that he's had, and you could see him, the memories coming back from different videos, and he would think about stories that happened, and you can see the emotions playing off. And I think that's great, because people don't understand that this is passionate and emotional for you guys as well, especially on a stage like this, a World Championship. And I mean, that's why you guys are who you are. You was able to take it to this next level and do these type of things. So awesome.
Yep.
I wanted to dress back a little bit, because JQ is gonna tell me off about this, because I always ask it, but it's in our notes, and our man Zach made some great notes. I want to know how you got started in all of this. Like, what was it that got you into RC in the first place? How did you get involved in it?
Oh, how I started RC cars?
Yeah.
It's kind of same as almost everyone. Just a typical, the family help. It's actually my dad just loves any kind of cars, and my dad never have RC car before, but his brother, it's more active doing for the hobby things. So his brother have some Tamiya wild wheels old school cars in the garage, and I think my dad asked his brother, if he don't use anymore, maybe can take these ones to bring back home, and then he said yes. So my dad, someday, he just coming back home with the RC cars, which is the Tamiya ones. And yeah, also I was just 9 years old, so I thought this is a new toys, and then we gonna play somewhere, and we charge the batteries. Then we check. It's a phone book. We don't have any that time the internet thing, so we just using a typical free phone book. It's where it's like a model shop somewhere, and then we found the RC track. We call someone the hobby shop, and the hobby shop has a track, so which is like not so far from my home. Then we bring the Tamiya car, and that track is it's high level, high competition level of the track. So many sponsor drivers come into to practicing, testing, and some join the club race. And our Tamiya car doesn't work at all. Even like the batteries we charge, but it's already dead. It's slightly moved, but I think it's only 10-meter move and then stop. It's battery done. So actually, the really first our experience for the RC car is almost no drive. We just be there. So my dad just give up with the car from his brother, just throw away. And then because of the other car, it looks all different. It's like a super dog fighter from Yokomo, Turbo Optima Mid from Kyosho, more racing style car. It's many of the cars driving around at the track. So my dad just bought, he just buy the RC magazines, the Japanese magazines, and then check all of what is the good car now. And then, the style was so totally different. So he just to buy most expensive car from Kyosho, the Turbo Optima Mid. Even we don't know how to build. We never drive RC cars, but he buy like the best one first. And then he built by himself because I can't do anything. And then next, I think 2 weeks later, we back to the same track with the new Turbo Optima Mid with that track. And then we have zero idea about RC industry or any situations. So we arrived there. It's 100 people was there. And the long time ago, it's every country is RC. It's more popular, especially in Japan. Like even local race, sometimes like 300 entry in the local race. So they couldn't finish in the one day. Sometimes they canceled the final because of just the schedule was just broken. And that day, it's just, I think over 100 people was there. And then because we just thought maybe it's just popular RC cars. And then the guy, he at the track owner said, "Oh, you have to write down your name on this paper." Okay, we write down because we just thought this is the registration for practice. And then they put the paper, put on the board with like in the group. And we thought, okay, there's so many people here, so we cannot drive in the same time. So we have to drive in the group and fix the times. And we check when we have to drive, and then right, maybe next is our turn. And I line up, and then they say, "Oh yeah, you have your car put in there," and then just the car put in the line, and then they starting countdown like, all right, 5 seconds to start, and then they count down and start. And even start, we don't think this is the race day. Actually, it's the race day. We thought just a practice. We just going to practice, but we don't know what is going on. So actually, my first experience is just it's a race day. And then so my dad tell me like, oh, I tell the dad. I remember I tell the dad, so what should I do? I don't know how to drive the car, but looks like we have to start now. And then my dad, one advice just before the start, right, Atsushi, the wheels on the radio, if you turn right, it's car go right. That's all his advice. And then I start. And then, of course, I couldn't do anything. Just, right, slightly, I think car move, but I think nothing can do. Especially at that time, it's so many people. So qualify, it's only 2 minutes. Two round of 2 minutes. So, and then after qualify, it's not everyone can race in the final because of they have limited number for the final. I think only top, I don't know, A main, B main, C main. I think D main. D main is just the last group on the final. So under the D main, I think everybody, no one, people cannot run the final. So of course I run only two time in 2 minutes. I don't know how many laps I can do. I do. I think it's maybe only 3 or 4 laps in this 2 rounds. And then so we just waiting until the end of the day. So super long day, I remember. This is my really first experience for the RC cars. And then it's starting to get more, I don't know, more getting serious to can drive more better. So me and Dad go every week, then same track. And luckily, there's many Kyosho drivers, Kyosho factory drivers every weekend come to the testing. So we make the friends and they teach me how to make the cars and then how to drive. So I learned kind of quickly because of, I learned from high level drivers. So I think this is one of my lucky situations where I started to my home track, just a super high level. So the first year, I already have one small sponsors for the motor and batteries. I got the 2 free motors, 4 free batteries in here, but which is already a big help for the racing. And me and Dad think about maybe join the Japan Nationals. We have to pass qualify because so many people at times. So we try to join the qualify in the first year of my racing life, RC life, and I think I just enough to clear the qualify. So after I started RC cars, first year already I joined the Japan Nationals. Of course, it's the result in Japan National was not great, but the first my Japan Nationals, it's still many Americans and Europeans top guys to join Japan National at that times, like Cliff Red, Joe Johnson's, and many legend drivers was there. And then one guy, he's named the Butch Crover, I think. He's American. Yeah. Butch Crover, yeah. I think he's one of the super famous driver from US. And then he's not the great that time in Japan National. I think he was same main as my four-wheel drive cars. I think E main or F main, something like that. And then I just fight with him in the main, and actually I win that times in the EOF main. And then the Butch just came to me and then see so much the graduate to me, and then it's congrats to me, and then I was just so happy for can race with international people, and then it's kind of the time to switch to my mind to get the racing the world championships. Masami is like the best example. He's the top of the world. He's Japanese. I can race with him many times. So already first year I already into RC racing industry so much.
What year do you think that was, Hara? What year do you think that was? I remember racing like in the 88 Australian Nationals, which was the warm-up for the 89 Worlds with Butch. So what year do you think that was with the JMRCA Nationals there?
90.
Oh, okay. 1990. So after the Worlds. Got it.
Oh, the Butch is Australian or American? He's American.
No, Butch is American, but I was first exposed to him, and he was really fast. He came out for the 89 Worlds in Australia, and I think he was out for the Worlds warm up potentially as well. I know Masami was, and that was a crazy race in '88 because we had rain, and all of the cars, even Masami with his amazing batteries, were just like limping over the line really slowly as they were dumping that year.
Yeah, the crazy time with the equipment advantages so much that time. Batteries, ESC, motors, and the times.
I mean, even if you watch, the video that Keenan just had, and for those that are only on audio, I think for me that's one of the most amazing things to see is you look at touring car, and it was super competitive, even way back when in the beginning of it. But the advancements in the speed in touring car is just so dramatic. Whereas if you compare, the terminal speed of an 8-scale car, is very, very similar. Of course, the grip in an 8-scale car is significantly better with the tires that were developed through the 2000s. But you can visually see the difference, in a speed of a 2000 touring car through to, the post-brushed era in brushless, where the speeds are just phenomenal now. I think that's probably, a huge transformation in touring car that doesn't really exist elsewhere.
I think it's the 2000, the world speed. I think same as now, I don't know, 17.5 Brinky.
Yeah.
Or, I don't know, 21.5, a little bit boost. Maybe.
Yeah.
Hey, Mark looks really mad at you right here, too. Or mad, period. He looks very upset.
Yeah, he looks like upset already.
Mark is like super pissed in this still right now. He's not happy at all.
Jason Ronan looking all young.
Yeah, Trinity t-shirts.
And that's Mike there. I'm pretty sure that's Mike. The photo's a little fuzzy here, but it looks like is that Mike Reedy there as well?
Yep, that's him. That's Mike Reedy.
Right?
Yeah, he's there.
Awesome. So was Masami one of the guys you looked up to as a young Japanese racer?
Yeah, it's I think for everyone with that time. Like 90s till 2000, I think in those 10 years, for sure, it's Masami dominate. It's everything. And I think it's 80, 86 till 2000s. I think it's Masami's like the best time, for sure.
Was he influential in your career at all? Did he notice you from a young age? And did he kind of mentor you a little bit, or did he see you as competition?
He's just actually, I can say he's my target, not
got you,
and not the teacher, because
got you.
Because I always like to against with him, which is it's right. I think it's many people in Japan. Masami is Jedi. I'm the dark side.
I like that. I was gonna use a Star Wars analogy with this, and I love that you did that.
It's actually it's also it's in the world. It's kind of people have image about associate lady is Jedi, and Lucy Trinity is like a dark side.
There we go. I love it.
Yeah,
it's
like
like
something like this. Yeah, it's like I like Star Wars, especially Jedi and the dark side things. It's we always can use this example for the other things. So, but actually, it's Jedi also. All right, front of you maybe the Jedi, but inside sometimes a difference. It's like a Darth Vader. It's used to Jedi, and then he turned to the dark side. So,
you know what? We could have a whole nother conversation about Star Wars. Trust me, we could, because I love it. When did you? You said you worked for Yokomo, correct?
Yeah.
So how did that happen?
Right. I started with Kyosho.
Okay.
Like I said, my first story with start with Turbo to meet, and then got some small sponsor from motor and batteries. And after that, I have also sponsor from Kyosho when I was young age. And I stayed with Kyosho 5 years. First 5 years, I drive for the Kyosho. And my last world for the Kyosho, it's 95 worlds in Yatabi, which is Pabilis 4-wheel drive win. Matt Francis win the 2-wheel drive. And that year's, it's the Kyosho kind of give up for, the challenge for the World Championships because of the team getting shrink, small and small. The the business was not it's really great for the Kyosho that times. So they decide to kind of stop development for racing cars. So it's kind of, I have no choice to move. If I'm looking for the World Championships for the winning, I have no choice to move the team. So I asked the guy, the team managers in the Kyosho. He pushed me to go to Yokomo because of Yokomo is like only the way to get the world. It's more close to get the world champion, more get the chance for the world champion. So. And Yokomo offered me many times, including Mike Reedy. Mike Reedy asked me to many times, "Oh, you have to run my motors for, you have a talent, and I take care of your motors." So one of my dream to Mike Reedy is directly the support to me, because he's everybody think he's like he's a motor god, and everybody respect him. Of course, I also it's respect him so much. So, but if I stay with Kyosho, it's kind of no chance to get sponsor only for the Reedy, because Yokomo distribute associated Reedy in Japan. So if I want to use Reedy with good support, of course I have to also switch the car. So one of the reasons why I switched to Yokomo, it's more than like a 70-80% because of Reedy, because I want to use Reedy. It's directly support from Mike Reedy. So I decide to the Yokomo, but it's one thing it's worry about after I switch to Yokomo, maybe they can control me to win or not, because
team orders.
Yeah, they can control, because Masami is like top driver for sure. But if I joined, of course, it's not going to number one driver, like a number two driver, like a Formula One. It's the best guy was there. It's a second driver. It's sometimes team can control to win the whole team. So it's one thing this worry about this thing before I joined the Yokomo, but it's a Kyosho team manager. It's try to negotiate or make promise to Yokomo boss, the Tom Yokobori. It's they meeting so long, and then the Kyosho manager get the promise from the Tom for don't control the Hara. If I change to Yokomo, he said please don't control the Hara, because he can fight with Masami, and this is maybe good for industry in Japan, because people want to see the Masami against someone with new guys. If always a Masami win, I think it's the racing industry never grow up. And if always young guy fast, but it's try to control, doesn't make the young guy win, I think it's really bad for industry. So, and then that times only the Kyosho team managers, only Hara can, it makes against with the Masami, only that he have the skill to beat Masami. So, right, same team, right, if Hara win, Masami win, anyway, it's Yokomo win. So please let Hara race for kind of, free, not by the control. So this is it's kind of, I can do, whatever I want racing the Yokomo team, because of the team Kyosho manager tell the Tom Yokomo boss, don't control me. So, but I remember the first race with the Yokomo was first nationals. It's 112. I never drive 112 before, but Yokomo have every category to sell in the market, like associated 112, 10 scale, on-road and touring car and 10 scale buggy. And I just want to race with the Masami, whatever class, because the Masami race every class in the electric car. So I just try to race every other category. This is the first time to start to not only focus on the one class, like a touring, even the touring car that time just started. So 10 scale buggy is popular before. Then touring car came, and 112, it's just not never get super popular, but it's always stable. It's always same people playing that 112 car. And Masami loved 112 car. So my first race 112 Japan Nationals, right after that I switched to Yokomo maybe 2 or 3 months later. And right, there's no control, no team control at all. They don't have any team meeting. They don't say anything. So I kind of misunderstand, because I feel like still I'm, it's enemy of the Masami, because I was Kyosho, and then I just strike against with him all the time. So I don't change my mind and then just switch a team. But I do on the track, it's the same thing. And, long time ago, it's every race, the judge for penalty was so soft, not serious about like now. You don't need stop when you crash with somebody, right? You don't need to stop right away. Now, yeah, you have to just stop sometimes when you crash with somebody. But that time, especially in the local Japan nationals things, it's, never get a penalty. So, right, Masami is fast. He got TQ. I get the 45 seconds. And I thought before start final, only I can chance to win if I break his car. So I make the plan where I crash to him after start. Of course, it's an easy spot is a hairpin, 180 hairpins, right? He slow down and he starting turn. I didn't hit any brake. He just keep full throttle. It's 100% pure T-bone crash to him. But of course, we both got flying at the track. So we both got explosions. And luckily, I don't break. He don't break. Right, Marshall help back on the track. And Masami is just by far dead last because I crushed him so hard. And I was luckily I don't cross the lane. So Marshall helped right away, and I back to third, and then I lead in race. But I pushed too much. Then my batteries just dumped to the end, and then Masami passed me easy, and then he win the first aim. Even I crashed him T-bone, he just fly away. And
he must have not been too happy about that. That was a pure dark side move, by the way. I give you 2 thumbs up for that one.
It's many people think I'm just right in the world. Maybe I'm not a crazy guy,
Mm-hmm.
but I was really crazy when I was young age, just out of control. And then so the first AMA, I really pissed off. It's just I so angry because I do T-bone crash, but I still lose. So I thought maybe not T-bone enough.
Not T-bone enough.
Yeah. So second AMA, exactly same spot, exactly same timing. I do more power to T-bone him. 200% T-bone him.
Oh my gosh. Masami must have been so happy with you.
Yeah. And then I think even more hard crash. And also the both got fried again. And then it's the same result, right? Masami's dead last, but he catch up, and he have more experience. So at the end I lose. So first 2 AMA he already win. So overall he already winner. So I have no chance to win anymore. But A3, right? I have to run because I need to get the second place overall. So just before A3, and that time Masami still race, right? It's anybody can still race, even you win the first 2 AMA. It's people can decide race or not, and that time it's a Masami race. And I remember before the A3, Yokomo boss, Tom and Masami, me, and the other guy, the boss say, "Oh, we have to meet him before the A3 final," and then he grabbed some small stones, and then he write something in the ground, and then I just thought what he writing for this, and this is the hairpin which I T-bone Masami, the same corner. He just he's just writing for the corner of the hairpins, and then he grabbed another two stones and put there. Right, this is Masami car. This is your car. Right, Masami car this way, and your car like this T-bone. Why you do this? Same team, 2 times in straight, same corner. Why you do this? And then I tell him just straight. Oh, because I want to win. I want to break his car. He break, I win. Then Tom is just right. Of course, he's angry. He's just so angry, but right. Not going to crazy angry. He just try to explain why this is bad for everything. Right? People look at everybody look at the race, and everybody wants to see the nice race. And he tell me like, all right, you make the plan to T-bone on purpose to break Masami's car. Mean if you race normally, no T-bone crash, don't break Masami's car. You think you already lose before the race. So you think it's Masami's better. So this is already you lose the race. You cannot win. So you have to, you have to change. I have to change my mind if I want to beat Masami. So a short time, I think maybe he's right. Maybe I scared. Maybe I thought Masami is just better than me. So if I really want to win the race, I have to stop this thinking, and I just to fight more fair fight, and then just beat Masami in fair way. And A3, right? I promised myself, no more make T-bone, no more T-bone, no more dark side, right? Race just the normal. But it's the Masami turn on another something like dark side of my switch before the start. He just tell me just before the start, "Hey Hara, right, I already win for this race. I don't need to run A3, but right, I want to show my speed on the front of people. Everyone's in the front of people, how fast I am. So I go full punch. I don't care about anything. Just I go full. So I think it's you don't. I think if I advise to you, don't follow me because I'm so fast. I'm going super fast. If you follow me, I'm sure you got to dump on the batteries, and you cannot follow my speed anyway because I'm so fast and new. So I think he also really angry. Even he win overall, but I think that T-bone crash make him super angry. So I think he tried to tell me something like how he angry is. So but it's for me also that's kind of like getting more excited about what he's saying, right? He think I cannot follow him because he's too fast, right? I think I can follow him, so I changed my mind. But if I push too much, of course, the battery is gonna dump before the 8 minutes. So we go the good start, just normal start, and then me and Masami just pull the car behind is so quick. After like 3 minutes later, I think it's already we lap down every cars. The 112 car is like 8 minutes race. So I don't much thinking about the management for the batteries, just the following Masami. Right, battery dump the end, whatever. All right, Masami think I cannot follow him, so I just try to follow him. And actually, the lap time was the best ever, including the qualify, faster than Masami's qualified lap times. So me and Masami it's kind of crazy fight. We still have the video on YouTube. I can send you a link, and you can see it someday. Yeah, we took our two cars are so fast, and then after 5 minutes, then Masami got a little bit overdrive, pushed too hard, and then he hit some of the corner, small touched. But 112 car, small touch sometimes can go fry. So he touched small things, but it's his car. I think it's a big crash, and then his motor get moved, so his car just cannot run anymore. So he just DNF it's A3 because he pushed too hard, and then he don't he not expect I can follow him because lap time so fast. And then right after Masami's car broke, motor moved and cannot move anymore, and I think it's 1 minute 30 seconds more to the end, and my battery is already starting the drop down, and I thought maybe I cannot finish the race, but I just drive so safe, and then lap time I make so slow, but it's still I have a 2 lap lead from behind, so it's enough to just I need to finish the cross line and still win for the A3. So after the race, and Tom, Yokomo boss, he came to me, right? This is what I told you. You make fair race and drive with Masami. You show the speed, right? Masami break, but it's still Yokomo win, and Tom is he's really happy for that result to the end. So it's kind of like that is my last moment to pure dark side. It's turned to more Jedi with that times.
So you could a gray Jedi, dark and light at the same time. Awesome. So let's keep it controversial. You have a spat here of 2003 to 2006 where you was doing some Raw Nationals.
Oh, right.
And you won everyone. So you won 2003. You won 10 scale fuel in California. Then in 2004 you won Nitro again in Ohio. Then modified in Florida, and then again 2005 modified, 2006 again. Once again, you won modified in touring. So I I know you lived in America at some point. This was when you was living there, right? And do you think that this is why RAW eventually blocked international drivers from participating in RAW events?
Yes, for sure.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Right. So after the Yokomo Rife, I switched to HPI, and then I really want to move to US because of, Americans, the RC competition racing level was so high, on-road and off-road. So in HPI, its head office also in the US. So I really wish to move to US to more doing for the international. So the first, our target after I switched to HPI, they want raw national titles. And the lower nationals, they have a membership, the conditions. It's not everyone can easy join, right? At least you have to live in the US. Mm-hmm. And they just say 6 months have to live in the US, but they don't say anything about term, how long, in the 1 year, 6 months, or in 2 years, 6 months, or, what the term. So anyway, I have apartment, I have visa, I have social security number in the US, I have a driver license, so it's enough to get the membership for RAW. So I signed up, I sent to my document, and they send me a membership card. I have member numbers, everything. So first race in RAW 2003 Nitro Touring Car Nationals in the Revelations. The Revelation track is used to on-road track. Now it's off-road, but it's that time they're on-road track. And then the first year for RAW National for me, it's where I signed up. I saw my name on the list day before the race. They already posted in the qualified group. I saw my names. So I prepare for everything, and then the next day, the qualified day, in the morning, I have to check my frequency. It's not the 2.4 giga at that times. So make sure I need to check my frequency for my crystal. But I couldn't find my names on the list when I qualified. And I double check, triple check. Many times I checked, but I couldn't find my names. So I asked the guy. At that time, I also doesn't much speak good English. So I just point, not my name, not all my names. And then the guy say, Hara, maybe come here, and then I need to talk to you. And then the guy, he's the club owner, say, right, the last night, the lower, the guy, he called me, and then, right, you are not Americans, you are, right, it's not supposed to race in the Raw Nationals, right? I cannot say anything because if English skill poor, I couldn't find the reason why. I just cannot do anything. So I just called the HPI office, and then all right, the people say something like I cannot race, so maybe I need going back to the office, and then maybe we can figure out why, and then we have to aim for the next time. And then HPI office tried to call the RAW, and then they still didn't change these decisions. Right, Hara cannot race for World Nationals. Right, so we cannot do anything. So I already to make my pit on the table, but it's all pack up, and then all the box in the cars, and then almost leaving the track. I just say bye to my friends on the track, but it's just before I leave the track, and then the truck owner just run into my car, and then he stopped me. Hey, Hara, just don't go back home. Now you can race. And I tell him, yeah, why now can race? Because if Loa say no, they don't change in their mind. And then he said, all right, I can explain to later. So just race first. And then after the control practice, and then we ask him why Loa changed the mind. Because of all of the local guys, which is I practiced there a couple times at the track. And then all of the local guys, it's just they cheering me. because my lap time super fast in the practice day, and then they want to see the fight against with American top drivers, and then all of the local guys at the Revelation track, many guys try to protest to their decisions. If Hara no race, we don't race too. Something like they say that. So they cannot lose so many people that race. So I think they decide to, to back on my names. So make everybody happy. So I think this is, I don't remember, or I don't know 100% this is a true story or not, because I hear from the other guy. So, but I remember that the guy said, he told me like this story. So, my motivation is even more higher because of, right? I come here for against with American drivers, top American drivers, but right, even more I want, against with them, fight with them, and then win for this race. And actually, I win that race, my first World Nationals. In the final, I win. And I remember against with the associate guys, like Nitro TC3. It's super fast also. Mike Brackstock, Buddy Baker. I think it's Pabilis also there. And Billy Easton's and all of the guys there. And I win. So it's kind of to change the lower rules. That time they cannot change to, right, non-Americans or not American license drivers cannot join before, but they allowed one time with that race. So after that, they cannot they kick me out anymore. So after 3 years, I raced 6 times World National in on-road side, 112 touring car, 110 touring car electric, 110 nitro touring cars. 6 race in 3 years, I win everything. So after win 6 race, 3 years, after that, they changed the rules. I don't know they still use that the rules or not, but that time I remember who people non-American drivers have to have the green card to join World Nationals, which is I cannot get the green card because the green card conditions is like really difficult to get.
Mm-hmm.
And plus my visa, to extend the visa every 2 years, every 3 years, it's getting more harder and harder because of 9/11, the terrorist things. It's 9/11 things. This makes more difficult for international people to get the visa. So my last visa year 2007, that's my last visa. And we tried to continue, but it's sounds like it's too difficult. So I decided to not continue to live in the US anymore, because also I win the World National 6 times, so maybe enough. And then they kicked me out anyway. So I decided to move back to Japan or some other countries. And then I decided to move to Thailand because of the Thailand RC community and market that's grow up every time. So I decided to move to Thailand with that time.
Probably cheaper in Thailand too.
super
much.
One thing for sure, I have to really thank to US America, because all of the hard situations, it makes me my English better, speak English more better, because at the beginning of the day, I just try to learn by myself the English, the normal way. It's just a normal way, but I learned English in the US because I want to fight with American drivers, because they only speak English, and then they always, it's many bad word and F word, and then say all the things, they yelling me, but I cannot, to fight back to them.
You know what? You really are the Asian JQ, besides the fact that you actually win, because you like beer, you like to fight, and he got banned from racing. He got the cops called on him in Spain because they didn't want him to run on nationals there. All the drivers wanted him to run, but they actually had to the cops were called to escort him off the premises because the federation would join. Asian JQ. I wonder who would accept that you win. He doesn't win at all. Interesting stuff. All right. We have the 2000. We're going to go into the 2012 Argentina Worlds real quick. Then we're going to wrap it up with your, kind of what you've been doing lately and your thoughts on RC as it is. Did you guys have any questions before we move on to that? Okay. So Argentina, pole position for the A main and second in the final. Man, that was impressive. Last hurrah for HB, I think it was.
That was
last time's HB.
That was Tessman. TQ and second is Tessman. I got this.
No, third. Sorry.
Third start and third finish, I think.
Yes. But didn't Boots beat Boots TQ qualifying, but didn't make it.
Yeah.
Right.
Many drama with that race. Argentina, the country is also, it's I can say for the RC race, it's kind of difficult to be.
I heard that. I heard that from many people.
Right. Start from customs. We stuck in customs. Everyone in same times. But I remember the problem only for the warm-up race. The Worlds is not the problem for the customs, because I think if somebody work out for, who people join the RC called Worlds and they get through from the customs. Yeah, so I'm a little bit scared to go there, like safety reasons, but at the end, yeah, it's the track was unique style, loose, bumpy, huge, big, long, but it's that race. Even more people think I have even no chance to get the grand final because I'm getting old, and another new guys came, like Tessman getting more fast. Many young guy like Lonefeld was there. I was just old school. Actually, 2008 Worlds in the final, I was oldest guy already.
Really?
Yeah, everyone's younger than me.
Wow.
I looks young, but it's not young.
But you ended up pulling off a third. You had a very busy ONROAD schedule. Did that kind of hamper your performance going into this, you think?
Yeah, that year is so difficult. That year is so busy. I have to race at the Worlds. Argentina 1.8 buggy and 10 scale touring cars in Netherlands, 10 scale nitro touring car in Thailand. So 3 Worlds in the same years. I think its first one is Netherlands touring car, electric touring car world, and then the second one I think Argentina. I think then third one is a 110 nitro touring car in Thailand. I think I remember. Yeah, and then Netherlands is second, and then Argentina. Of course, it's even includes myself. It's not my time to win the Worlds. It's not it's kind of off pace too much from the fastest guy in at that time. Especially Elliot Boots it's so crazy fast in the qualify. So everybody think he's win, or maybe he's the biggest, his fastest guy in that day. And then the other Lonefog also fast, and Robert also fast, and everybody fast. Desmond also fast. So, but some reason I just drive consistently in the qualify and directly into the semi. For me, it's kind of already happy for directly into the semi. Still, I have chance to get the grand final. So me and Mira just it's kind of relaxed. Of course, if we have chance to win in the final, of course we try to prepare for engine tuning and mileations, try to the best as possible. But maybe the speed was not great as 2010 or 2008 World. So, but we try to something for the final. So the final day, Mira, day before, the night before the final day, he just think what changed to make more car faster. So that time we make Hot Body's D812 prototype, which is like 100% new car. It's everything's like a new designs compared to the first D8. So this time that time is switched to designer Josh Alton to Torrance. Torrance, right? Yeah, he still works for the HB. The Torrance, the first time designed for D812, and then which is like completely new car. And we make a ton of the prototype parts, like option parts, and it's kind of too many options, like many different lengths of shock towers, chassis lengths, and the kick up, different suspension broken and everything. It's just no time to test everything. But the track is really rough. It's getting more worse and worse. This is hard to drive. It just drive around because so many the bumps over there and holes. So Muran put every which is we never tested the parts on the car for semi-final practice, because we have a practice for semi-final. And then if car doesn't work, maybe we switch back to the same car as a qualified car. So Muran kind of make the magic again. He put the longer chassis, like a 4 or 5 millimeter longer chassis, and then maximum lay down shock tower things and long. And put the Mugen springs, which is we never tried before, because of the shock springs are too long for standard shock tower. So Muran choose lay down and longer, higher shock tower, which is we have the prototype, and then he put on there. He think it's just the lay down is just more easier to through the bumps. So when I tested the semi-final practice, and suddenly like my lap time was just it's same lap time as the other top drivers. So we decided to use that car for the semi-final. And hence the semi-final, I would start like 7th, I think 7th or 8th start for the semi-final. But I almost win for the semi-final. The last lap, I crashed 4 times in the last lap, and then the Robert Patel, he passed me in the last few laps, and then he finished the first in the semi, but I finished second. But my speed was better than anybody else in the semi, so I feel like still have a chance to win for the world in the grand final. And grand final, I think I focus on kind of too much, right? Safety drive or doesn't make so much mistake. So I miss a little bit speed on the grand final, and then the Robert is just far away after like 20 minutes later. So it's kind of right. Maybe this time I'm not going to push too hard to win for the world. I just stay with maybe podium. Maybe it's good. So I stay. It's second, third, fight with Tessman. Then the end, I think I fight with the Mayfield for fighting for the third and fourth. And David, he joined for that fight, and and then it's really close. But I finished the third. But this is the last moment of my, the competitive time till the 2012. So I think this is the last year of my, competitive level still, How
old were you then? Like 30-ish,
32 that time.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you had a very long career. We're talking about a career that spanned many years from a young age.
Yeah. Now already 44.
Yeah. We're about the same age. I'm just about a year older than you.
I'm the same age as Adam Drake. The same.
Yeah. You're younger than me. So I need to shave. But a third place finish for you, I think that's 3 podiums and 3 worlds back to back, obviously with a win. Pretty impressive feat. This is probably, in my opinion, the hardest, one of the hardest races to win. I mean, we've only seen two-time winners, and obviously we had our first back-to-back with Davide. I guess, so now we move into that part of your career. You're 32 years old. I think you left HB around her this time and maybe went to S-Works, if I think correctly.
Yes.
If I remember correctly.
I moved to S-Works. But as the 2012 World still, I'm even don't thinking about leave the Hot Bodies. It's some different situation. After, some marketing situation was not the great at time. It's hard to get the parts. It's HB, the warehouse control system was not great that time. So it's the people get the car but never get the parts. It's always run out, always sold out from hobby shops, and I got so many complaints. So car is good. People likes the car, but it's cannot get the car. Includes me. I couldn't get any parts enough for joining any races. So Yeah, we anyway. My contract is finished end of 2012, and then 2013 I have to actually I signed new contract in 4 years at times, but I just kind of cancel for this new contract because of some of the reason.
Now, had they switched hands to Neidhart and all of that by this time?
No, it's more later on that.
Okay.
I think 2016. But after that, I rejoined with them 2019.
Yes.
2020.
Yeah, she did the RCGP runs as well.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Yeah. I read that one time. So after left HPI Hot Bodies, and I found S-Works. They looking for a driver, so I talked with them, and I stayed with 2 years, and I joined to the Worlds in Italy 2014 with S-Works. Was okay. It's a good experience. It's new team, like the car under development. Still not the best, but it's also I learned more how to develop the good car. The end in S-Works now is really good, but
yeah, they the S-Works that we're talking about nowadays. It was a different. A-Main had it. That's when A-Main was doing the big push with it, I believe.
Yeah, it's exactly That time A-Main pushed so hard. 2013 I started with a relationship with the A-Main hobby because they really happy to work with me. After the 2012 Argentina Worlds, I talked with Marty Korn and Chad Bradley. They are my old friends, and then they work. Marty Korn, yeah, he's crazy Marty Korn, yeah.
Yes, that's exactly what I was thinking when you said his name.
Also, he's my same age. We are same generation, so
yes,
he looks old, but the same as my age. Yeah.
So that started a period of your life. I think you was kind of after S-Works, you kind of bounced around a bit.
Wait.
You went back to HB. I think didn't you go to
translation, automatic translation things? The voice translations. I won't delete these things.
Oh, okay. He's having technical issues. Didn't you go Mugen for a little while as well? I think I recall.
Okay. Now, okay. Yeah, okay. If something this turn on, I couldn't hear from you. It's
okay.
Something off. So
I apologize.
Right. No, it's okay. No, I have to apologize to you because my computer is saying something like translation.
So this started a period of time where you kind of bounced around to different manufacturers.
Yeah,
I think you went to Mugen for a little while as well. Or you ran a Mugen car for a little while.
It's just not the signed contract, just one race contract, just
even Agama for a while. I remember you did RCGP with Agama in the Philippines, then you did HB in Europe. So you kind of bounced around. Was that a difficult period of time for you trying to find work in RC?
I just trying to challenge to try to doesn't get any main sponsors because I have enough sponsor from MA Hobbies and the other all of the equipment. I still have a sponsors OS and Futaba, and then if for me just didn't have car manufacturer sponsors, but still I can survive with that times. So I decided to make more fun for the people. Switch every time to different car. Yeah, of course, it's for racing. It's terrible. It's bad. I cannot get any experience of the car. Always new. Never find the best setup because of no times. So, but it's also on the other hand, it's really fun to try the other car. Like after the change I just left after the stop sign contract with HPI, and then I go into Cinetic race 2013 Surabaya. I just got the car from MA Hobby Kyosho MP9, still it's good car, TK3, a TK4 that time, I don't remember, but yeah, Kyosho car was really good that times. And then first time ever I run the Kyosho car for 1.8 buggy. Then I win that race. Race with Thibaut and Robert, the Kyle McBride. He's like the the biggest competitor at the time. So we fight for the winning at the times. And the Kyosho car it's really good experience. And after that, I switched to the S-Works. Oh no, before the S-Works, I have run JQ one time,
Oh yes, that probably didn't last too long.
JQ Cup in Asia.
Yes. I think that's before my time, maybe before my time at JQ.
Yeah, I tell him, he tell me many times, all right, Hara, you are now free. You don't looking for the sponsors, so I won't race with you one time. And I tell him, all right, I race with you once a life. Once a life, I can race with you. Yeah,
that's what most people can stay on with JQ.
Because I like him. I mean,
he's a good guy. You are very similar to him. Very similar to him. Besides that, you actually, like I said, you actually win. And you're a world champion multiple times. So now you're with Infinity. You seem to have found a home there. Are you happy with what you're doing now? What is your job description at Infinity? What do you do? I see you doing a whole bunch of stuff like driving non-racing cars and all that type of stuff. What is your job now?
So I do just for a normal job in the company, like a normal employee, like I used to work with the Yokomo. Because before Infinity, I joined to HB Racing with the Nightheart. It's, then COVID-19, it's killed all of the, racing market, and then cannot traveling anymore, even like no racing local. So no more, it couldn't make any job. I couldn't find the job from racing industry. So, it's also no reason to, no reason, just hard to find the reason to join with HB at that time, because HB sell racing cars, but no racing in anywhere in that time. So we talked to what we're gonna do for the next season, and so the contract when you finished, I think it's hard to keep to good relationship or a good business with the both of us. So we decided not continue for our contract. And still that time, I don't have any other choice to how I get the business in this industry. So, Muran, I know him long time, and he's the boss of the Infinity. So I spoke with him, and he also looking for some doing the BDO things in the companies, and company also have not much people inside. So anything's I can help in their office, so they are more than welcome to work with them. So I do it's all of the things, like many small things in office in normal day. Then I work in the home 2 days per week and doing the video things, and the other 3 days is going to office and then just help for whatever they want in the office. And the racing things, I'm not the part of the team members in the racing team members, but no one have experience for the A-scale buggy, especially for development. So the Italian team from Infinity, they take care for all of the project. Ricky Barton, he's the driver for the Infinity, and he doing the good, but he's super fast driver, and sometimes super fast driver is not the best guy to testing car, especially like crash testing or driving the local situations, or so they want me to test in the more local way, and so I bring the car to local track in Japan. And one reason I can promote the people, the project, we have the project for one of the buggy, and then show the people, and then make more interesting for the Infinity cars. And then so I just mainly help for in more local side with the test. So we still keep going the test, but now it's the development and the doing good, and but the schedule for release on the market is so super delayed because of the COVID things is that killed all the schedule. Is the material cannot get, the price is super high than before, so we target to make the cost of price. It's kind of all broken because of the situation that changed too much. So the car designed ready, but it's hard to make a step more go front to the done for this project. So, but that looks like almost done for all of the design. And so we just finish all of the things to release on the market. So I think it's it's a car. It's good. I'm not the guy. I'm not the main guy to the help for the design and development. But seems looks pretty good. I think a little bit different style of the design of the car, especially in the front end. So and Lefty showed the speed for the Worlds and Europe and every other track. But it's only one driver in the team. Also difficult. They cannot share all the setup things, and because we have only one car. So after I think it's the release on the market and we make more bigger team, and then I think it's even the Lefty's result. I think can more the competitive, more chance to get the win. I think so.
Yeah, he was fast at Buggy Land 2 weeks ago too.
Yeah,
he's good. He's good. Him and R2 are nice people and good people. As long as you're happy, man. Because a person, a legend like you, I think we see too many legends like you that have world championships and whatnot and done so many good things in RC. When they get farther on and they get older, they're not involved in RC anymore. So it's always good to see you involved. And I think you've earned that with, obviously from talking from Zac and Ben and the way people respect you around the RC industry. I know it's getting late there, so we're gonna try to wrap this up real quick. But I had 2 more questions, and Zac and Ben, if you guys have any questions, my first question would be, who was your biggest rival? Okay, was it Masami? But outside of Masami, who was the one guy that was your biggest rival coming up through your time?
Mark Reinhardt.
Really? Okay. What was it about Mark that did you approach him the same way you approached Masami, like Dark Side and Jedi?
I think it's the Mark. It's a pure the Jedi side. I think he's just a new Jedi. There is no anymore Jedi in the dark side with his generation. I think my generation was the last moment of still have Jedi and the dark side. I think now mixed together. Mark, I think he's just in between. Of course, it's win for the race. Sometimes you have to be the dark side. Even everyone. I think. But Mark, I think he's just right. Masami, for me, the Masami is first the guy to my rival, right? I think only him, only he's rival. I think it's same for everyone in the world in that times. But when Mark came, 2004, he just showed another level, even like a driving style. It's touring car with a spool. I think it's the Barry Baker, American Barry Baker. He
speaks highly of you too. Very highly of you.
He's the first guy to know how to drive not front one-way car. It's used to the front one-way. Every car put the front one-way. It's front one-way is kind of the weird feeling, but I think it's the body make. He put the front diff, just a ball diff in the front, but make tight. It's not the same as a spool, but it's like he knows how to drive. The full-time buggy, full-time four-wheel drive. It's not the one-way style, but it's a Mark Reinhardt. He create to the best driving style for the spool drive on the front. So I think it's Mark driving style. It makes more the driving style for the touring car, and he also the smart for the racing and. It's just his skill was just the another level. So, right, I think it's his skill, his driving skill. I think it's better than Masami, better than me with that time when he the best time. But I think it's I can say my biggest rival, and because I was also good that time until 2008, 2010. So his peak and my peak was I think almost same time. I think.
Okay.
So peak, I think is we have a good time to race in the same generation. So I say Mark.
All right. My last question for the night, and I think Zac and the guys already they're tired too. What do you think about RC at the moment? Are you still involved with it? And who coming up now impresses you the most? What driver?
Oh, the
yeah. But what do you think about RC at the moment? You know what's going on, and what driver it doesn't matter in what class, but what driver impresses you the most right now that's coming up or is established?
Oh, this generation, like new generation. I mean, like now, right?
Yes.
I think it's the Bruno. The Bruno was for me. I think the Bruno is like right overall. I think it's the best driver because he do many different category on top level. Ongaro for sure. He's just for the buggy for sure. He's just by far the best. But Bruno is not so off from the Ongaro. So right, if I pick names, who is the super fast or who is the best, it's kind of hard to choose at this moment. But it's the best guy not always can win at this moment because of the 10 scale off-road worlds. It's just a few weeks last month in the US. Right, the guy new guy, the Tata, he win the big time in the 2-wheel drive. It depends on it's like the competition level was it's really different now. So, but if I have to pick only one guy who is the best now, I think it's a Bruno.
Okay, I wouldn't argue with that. Are you happy with the way the direction RC racing is going at the moment?
Directions?
Yeah, the way RC racing is going on a worldwide stage.
No, I don't think the best way for now because of it's the racing. It's just if you want to join the World Championships or any competition race now, I think it's just a little bit too high, like too difficult, especially for the worlds. Like spec things like spec tires. Spec things also, especially tires. Sometimes it's more. You have to spend more money, and then for the local guy or a non-sponsor guy, it's getting more hard to join the race, even for the local side. In Japan, also I've always argued with these problems. Right, Japan nationals, it's always getting lower number for the entry. It's because of people just cannot prepare for all of the tires and then time. It's so hard to get join the race. So sometimes Japan nationals is just right. If under 20 entry, they say they cancel the race, and many times it's almost under 20 entries.
Right.
The end maybe 21, 22. Okay, over 20 people, so we're gonna race. But right, this is not the happy for. They cannot say this is the happy for to make the race, and they have to think about why less people now for competition race. Then now people switch to enjoy RC car with no race, fun RC car with no race. So I make my own event, just RC fun event last weekend, which is we don't race. We just people just invite people and then just pay for the track practice fee, and then we do some game. We drive together. We make the talk show. We do some like RC soccer games, and something like a more game style. It looks like more people looks fun to the coming event. Actually, I have like over 50 people only one day with that time. So it's almost same amount of Japan National Day, or sometimes more people than Japan who people going to Japan Nationals. So the racing things I think the problem was all of the equipment, like especially motor, batteries, and engines, tires, the development too much, the quality make too good. Right, the motor get too fast, the battery, it's also good power, too much power. It's kind of hard to enjoy just to drive because of something like everything too much. So that's why I think it's still Tamiya cars. Like even people still like to buy Tamiya RTR kit. It's right slow. It's slow. Bring the track the Tamiya car RTR. It's very slow, but it's slow mean not the fun. Slow sometimes, for beginner people and who people just started RC car. This is much more fun than super high speed cars.
I get that.
I think these things for sure. I think it's every country, in the world. I think it's the same problem. So I cannot say the racing situations. What is the racing situation and includes the market and business, everything's not great. I think we have to change something. Even the worlds, IFMA worlds. Sometimes people get some complaint about rules and schedule and all the things. So yeah, I think we need to discuss about more people. I think we need more people to discuss.
I agree. We probably need to have you on to talk about that again. Another point about that situation. We've been going for 3 hours. Ben, you look shattered. It's just
3 hours already.
I know. I'm up now. See, I can go. I know it's getting late for you guys. I appreciate. Did you guys have any more questions for Hara before we terminate?
All right, can I say one thing?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Right. So I want to, the show to the cars to get back my 2008 World car. My favorite. This car changed my RC life. Second time they changed the big ones. I win in the US this once, and right. This car, I really want to get back because of this. I feel like this is not only my car. I think everyone's car. Everyone's just, it's still, 15 years later, still talk about that race. When we start the crowdfunding things, and it's so many people help for to get back this car. So I really likes to huge big thanks to who people help for the crowdfunding things, and who people are involved for this project. Zac and Ben, Josh, Andrew, and especially to Mark Fabides to pick up the car. Where's he bring the cash to pay the seller? So who people involved for these things, this project. I really likes to tell it's the biggest thanks to everyone. Thank you.
That's awesome. RC is awesome. Thank you to Zac and Ben for doing that. Thank you for arranging this with us and being with us and doing this. It was really a pleasure getting to know more about you, Hara. Thank you for your time. I greatly appreciate it. And I'm so glad you got that back, because it would have been upset. It would have been upsetting if it ended up in somewhere, somebody else's hands that had no idea the history behind that. So you deserve to have it back, man. And thank you to everybody that crowdfunded this and got involved, because obviously it could not have been done without you guys. Hara, I appreciate you. I hope to meet you one day, hopefully, and have a few cold ones with you. Ben and Zac, you guys have got a nationals coming up here soon. Thank you for your time. I greatly appreciate it. Hope to see you guys soon as well next year, hopefully. I'd love to come to the Philippine Masters. And thank you, man. I had a great time chatting with you guys. Thank you, Hara, for all that you've done in RC. And we got to have you back on, I think, to talk some more. And we still got topics we haven't covered. That's how much we got to talk about.
I gotta start up these engines. Really? I gotta make a video to start up these engines.
Change that filter though, because that thing's probably
only a filter. Only
change the filter and fire it up. Let's do it.
Because Zac told me the flywheel still cannot turn. It's still so tight. It's not to last, just compression still. It's huge.
I bet you could take it and drive it. I think you could race it.
Yeah.
I couldn't.
You work on your finger strength. I was able to flick it over. It's light, but you can flick it over.
All right. Awesome job, guys. Thank you for your time, Hara. Thank you for your time. Ben, Zac, thank you for your time. With that said, we're going to end this, and you guys have a good one. Thank you. Once again, thank you to Zac and Ben for their time. I saw they were like tired, It's late for them over there in Australia. It's early. It's mid-morning for me when we was recording that, so I was full of energy. But don't worry, I'll be tired like them very shortly. Hara, thank you for your time, man. It was exceptionally getting to know you. I look forward to meeting you one day, having a few beers with you. Thank you for all that you've done in RC. I like it. You're a Star Wars fan, just like me. So we even have a connection now. You, HagBerg, me, we're all Star Wars nerds. I love it. Yes. So thank you for your time. I hope you guys enjoyed this podcast. It's 3 hours of just talking to one of the legends, and I don't think we have a podcast with him such extensively. So I hope that it goes down well. I hope you guys enjoy it. And once again, thank you to Zac and Ben for making that happen. Thank you to them for helping get his 2008 World Championship car back, and everybody involved in helping getting that back. It's truly awesome. That man deserved to get his car back. So I appreciate that. We do have another episode dropping after this. I'll probably drop Monday. I am off to Masters of Dirt next week, so I'll probably drop it on the Monday that I fly out Monday night. So do stay on the lookout for that. That's going to be me and Max and I. We're going to do your questions from last week. We're going to do some, geek out. We're going to talk about the Florida RC Championships, talk about the upcoming races that I have, and just geeking out. Maybe a little bit of silly season news, even though I haven't heard anything recently. We're going to look at some products to geek out, just a regular, Max and Lefty geek out podcast. I did enjoy the last one. It won't be 4 hours. Don't worry. But we do have to answer those questions, and then, all that good stuff. So I thank you guys for all the support. We cannot do this without you guys. Thank you to all of the NNRC squad around the world. Thank you for all the support. Thank you to everybody that showed me a bunch of love at the Florida RC Championships. I greatly appreciate that. Thank you to Lance McDonald, Danny Paz, Patrick Rossiter, Gene, and his wife Amber for all their help and all their support. I just awesome people. I enjoy our trips every time. Also, thank you to the patrons of the NNRC. We can't do it without you. I can't do it without you, or the YouTube members. If you wish to be a YouTube member or Patreon member, the link for that is in the written description of that podcast, and every little bit helps. Thank you to all of the NRC squad around the world, and thank you to all these companies that support us. Remember, you can find links, coupon codes, discount codes, affiliate links, and all of that good stuff in the written description of this podcast for these companies. They are Invisible Speed, High Tech RC, Sun Pedal USA, Sidewinder Fuel, Hot Race Tires, Mayako, Beach RC, Techno RC, Clinic RC, Ignite Design RC, Stacked RC, Donovan RC, RaceCraft USA, Florida RC Championships, the WRC, We Do RC Media. Shout out to my boy Gene Strout, SJ Builds. If you want something built, go check him out. RCGP, David Runafalk. Look at that. RCGP, David Runafalk. I'm just reading. RCGP, and to our drivers, David Runafalk, who I'm eagerly waiting to see where he's going to go, Jared Tebow, Robert Badia, Alexander HagBerg, and Matty G. And shout out to my boy, RC Body Armor. With that said, Nitro's the glory. E-Buggy pays the bills. If you ain't grinding the siding, Lefty is out as soon as I find that outro. And I found it. Bye-bye, everybody. Have a good weekend of RC.